Got body for the top, baby. Bang. Hey, 10 toes down. I got shows and verses. I'ma bring them to your town. For the right, fucking them out. You can hear me right now. Hey, 54 show and 24 12. I'm a loose screw, I ain't no nil. Walk up in the building.
Ladies and gentlemen, listeners around the world, welcome to episode 2 of the 10 Toes Down podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon Crone, joined here by Nate Harrington, Torrin Roth for about 20 minutes, and a newcomer, Jake Sullivan, joining another Bills fan. As you can see, we live in Buffalo. John Hassan hopefully will be joining later. I really want him on, so I'm going to be getting updates from him. But Jake, how are you? Welcome to the pod.
Dude, good to be here. I listened to bits and pieces of the last episode. I want to listen to all of it, but it's super cool what you guys got going on, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Talk some ball.
All right. So to run real quick here through the agenda. So I'm going to be checking off and on to see John's status. Weekly review once again like last week. And then from there, we're getting right into the people's takes. I got 2 from Twitter. I got 1 from the TikTok comment section. If you guys don't know, throughout the week, we're on the grind with short form content. So go run that up. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything's in the description on the days that we don't drop new episodes. And we have 1 from Jake as well during that segment. And then we have a new segment debuting after that called Where Do They Stand? This is going to be one that's, a little more open for debate, bigger discussion. Stuff may get a little, rage baity if John decides to hop in. We're doing the top 10 current QBs in the NFL. I feel like it's a trending topic right now, something that's relevant to the stuff we had been posting. So I figured we'd, get some takes in there, get a little entertaining segment, and then close it off with the pick'ems. So not much to say with this game, but we're just going to start it off like we always do. Jets, Bills. Nate, I know you said you have some stuff, so I'll let you start off.
Yeah. So hands down, player of the game for this game for me was James Cook. 21 attempts for 132 yards on the ground. So had 2 touchdowns on the ground and 6.3 yards after contact. Just a great game from the Bills on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, controlling the line of scrimmage. And James Cook took a lot of pressure off of just the passing game, just made our life a lot easier. Josh Allen didn't have to do much, and we came out with a 30-point, dropping 30 and with a win. So that's always good. Like I said, big bounce back for the Bills defense, especially since they had no Ed Oliver, no Taron Johnson. Kind of got surprised by Taron Johnson being ruled out a little bit later into the week. And with the way that the Jets were playing against the Steelers, honestly, I didn't know how he'd fare, and we did great. Joey Bosa had himself a really good game. Joey Bosa had a 46.7 pressure rate with a 40% win rate. He also had 7 pressures and 2 forced fumbles with 1 sack. 2 games as a Buffalo Bill, Joey Bosa now has 3 forced fumbles. Also, I just want to say that the Jets in general did not impress me. Justin Fields looked scared. He looked panicked. Yeah, he had 27 passer yards on the day with a 39.6 passer rating. And after this game, Justin Fields is now 0-24 when the opposing team he faces scores 21 or more points in the game that he plays, which is not good at all. Jets need to find a new quarterback. And speaking of QBR, I saw this thing on Twitter, so I needed to put it in here. Josh Allen had a higher QBR this game against the Jets than he did against the Ravens because his stats against the Ravens were considered garbage time stats per ESPN's QBR rating. So my question to ask you guys is, based off these 2 games, is the QBR rating overrated?
Total QBR sucks.
And do we look at it too much?
Total QBR sucks, and it favors quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson because Ravens fans have been all over Twitter this week talking about how Lamar Jackson leads the league in total QBR. And then they go off passer rating, which sucks too. And they're like, oh, the all-time passer rating list, Lamar Jackson is number 1 because he's stat padding in the 4th quarter up 20 on the Browns, still throwing the football. And it doesn't make any sense to me. QBR is totally overrated. It's a stupid metric. How can something be considered garbage time when you came back and won the football game? Yeah, Josh Allen had the most yards in the 4th quarter in a win. Anything else above him, they were all in losses. Those were garbage time. You have to actually look at the game and realize this wasn't garbage time. He won the game with a really good performance that in just the fourth quarter would have been an above average quarterback performance for a total game. Some better than maybe Justin Fields has ever done in his career. I know we don't really want to get into Fields, but no, QBR, I don't know how you guys feel about it. It's terrible.
It's mid.
Yeah, I think it's awful. Like, it made a lot more sense like 10, 20 years ago when pretty much every quarterback was like that pocket passer where you don't see a lot of rushing touchdowns. Guys aren't running as much as Lamar and Allen are now. So it's just like, yeah, I think it's extremely outdated. And the fact that NFL didn't count that as garbage time is literally the stupidest shit I've ever heard, bro. Like, the fact you don't have exceptions for that stat makes no sense to me. And yeah, it just pushes the narrative that it's literally useless. It's just an overrated stat. Like,
Made a cut there. John is joining us. Hopefully he's in now. So I don't know if you, John, I don't know if you have any thoughts on QBR. Nate, I didn't know that. That fires me up. I did not know that
Come on,
QBR
Jake
thing.
Jake had
agree.
a point.
I agree.
Let Mr. Jake Sullivan talk.
I thought he was.
Oh,
he
I
was
was done.
done.
That was my
I thought he was done. Yeah.
Oh, he was done.
Mhm.
Okay. I honestly didn't hear like the entire conversation because I was trying to figure out my microphone situation. So
Here, I'll just recap it really quick.
wait, so QBR, what was the
Is QBR an overrated
Yeah.
stat?
what were you talking about? I heard Justin Fields. So what you're talking about, like how what was the comparison? What were
Josh
we, like,
Allen
what
had a
was
better
So-
QBR in the Jets game than in the Ravens game because they considered his fourth quarter stats. QBR considers it garbage time.
Well, QBR, I mean, shouldn't, because Josh Allen wasn't really throwing the ball too much anyway in that game against this past week. It was more of a run-heavy offense. So QBR just really doesn't make sense because, like you said, the Bills won the game week 1, so it's not like it was garbage time. If they had lost, then yeah, you can consider it garbage time. But the Bills came back and won. And it's not like he was just, throwing the ball around, like making stupid throws and somehow making it happen. He was making actual quarterback, good reads, good throws. So, yeah, I think QBR is an overrated stat when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, yeah.
Okay. I want to get into something else about Bills Jets before we move on because there's not too much to say. And Nate, you talked about player of the game, James Cook. Do you guys think James Cook has an argument to be a top 5 running back in the game? I have him at 6. I went over this with Nate. I have him at 6.
You have your top 2, which are Saquon and Derrick Henry. And then once you get into the final 3, when it comes to your top 5, you have guys like I wasn't able to catch the Lions game. But then you have your guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, who last season finished, I believe, in the top 5 of running backs. James Cook could be fighting for a 4 and a 5 spot, he could be fighting for the 5 spot. But honestly, I wouldn't be mad if somebody put him at the 5. It wouldn't be like the worst
Bijan
decision in the
Robinson
world.
is the 3.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you my list right now. This is my order. I got King Henry at the 1. I got Saquon at the 2. If you swap them, I wouldn't be mad. I got Bijan at the 3, Gibbs at the 4. If you swap them, I wouldn't be mad. At the 5, I'm going to respect CMC, and then I'm going to put James Cook at 6. I got James Cook over Josh Jacobs. I have him over A-Chain. I definitely have him over Breece Hall. Don't let the Jets fans fool you about Breece Hall. He's an extremely boomer bust, injury-prone running back. He doesn't move me. The Jets' offensive line doesn't move me to get him, as productive as he needs to be. So I have James Cook at the 6, but I wouldn't be mad about like a top 5 argument. And by the end of the season, he could definitely make the case.
I feel like CMC is going to drop out at the end of this year. Sorry, John. I feel like CMC is going to drop out of the top 5 by the end of this year. He's too injury prone. If he gets injured one more time and he's out for a minimum of 4 games, I put money on it. James Cook goes into that 5 spot.
I like the list that Brandon was saying. Like I said, I mean, I agree with Torrin in a way because Christian McCaffrey has been a very injury prone the last couple of years. So when it comes to Christian McCaffrey, he is a great running back, but it's the matter of he can't stay healthy, it seems, and his calves really hate him for some reason. But yeah, it's like the CMC one could be a big argument that kind of keeps James Cook out of the top 5. But I guess like a healthy CMC, when he is healthy, he plays really well. Yeah, he's top 5. He is the 5. And yeah, Jameer Gibbs, he's obviously up there. Bijan Robinson, he's a great running back. So yeah, James Cook, I guess, yeah, it could be interchanged with CMC, really kind of, I guess, depending on the situation. But James Cook is consistently healthy, and he's consistently there. So honestly, I wouldn't be mad putting James Cook at the 5, but it could be the argument that you make that CMC would go at the 5 and Cook at the 6.
And when it comes down to like the biggest flaw in CMC's game is his inability to stay on the field. The biggest flaw in James Cook's game is what? Dropping touchdown passes. For some reason, just in the end zone, he is when he drops, but otherwise he's great in the receiving game. He's great in the running game. He has a good run blocking offensive line. He makes plays where sometimes you just feel like there aren't plays to be made. He's becoming more elusive, more evasive from tackles as he's progressed in his career. So if you're comparing just a major flaw between the two, I'd rather have James Cook's flaw any day of the week. While CMC might like get
Right.
more total touchdowns, but even then, James Cook had so many rushing touchdowns last year and might continue to do so this year. And he was our, only source of really finding the end zone last week. So, it's
Yeah,
maybe
and
he
I
is
mean,
the 5.
unless if he doesn't prove it this year, I mean, I still don't think. I'm glad we got James Cook at the price that we got him at. But obviously, I think we can all agree here that he's not worth the Saquon money. And when he was asking for $15 million a year, I mean, he's a good tailback, but he's not Saquon Barkley. And but I'm glad we got him at the price we did. Yeah, like you said, yeah. I mean, if we're talking about flaws, James Cook doesn't really have many when it comes to not having him on the field, whereas Christian McCaffrey is consistently, either on the IR or kind of sidelined for a lot more plays than he should be. So
I think a
I
lot
mean,
of
even when he
fans.
plays sometimes.
I think a lot of fans in the like the hindsight of the offseason were like, yeah, we don't want to deal with a player that's going to dispute over contracts. But now you think about it, like the people who genuinely tried to convince themselves that we would have been just fine with Ray Davis and Ty Johnson were like lying to themselves, because there's no way. I'm super happy we extended James Cook. To John's point there, like there's no we would not have been fine with Ray Davis and Ty Johnson.
I wonder who would have ever said some ridiculous stuff like that. But
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off Torin, and I want to give him the floor real quick because he's
No, you're good.
only on
Yeah,
for 5
no,
more minutes.
I'll say something about James Cook, but I'm gonna let Torin go before me since he's on.
Well, all I was saying was like, CMC's been playing on a limited snap count now for like 3+ years. Like just based off that and the amount of money he's making with that too. What's he making? Like $18 million a year, and we
He's
got
on a
Cook
big
for, I think, what, 13 million or something like that. Something close to it, 13 to 15 million. Right?
No, definitely. Was it
I think
13
it was
or
like-
was it?
I thought it was like
was it
11 and
11? Was it
12.
3 for 33 or was it 3?
I thought it was
for
12. I thought it was. I thought it was 12. If
We
I'm
just
not
like
mistaken.
matched the Kieran Williams
It was about-
contract essentially.
Yeah, I thought it was like 11 and a half, 12.
11 or 12 probably.
It was like 4 years.
It was a
40,
4-year 46, so 11.5.
Ah,
So we got a
yeah,
pretty cheap.
11.5.
So we kind
I
of took
say
the Kieran
cheap.
Williams contract and twisted it a little bit because I think he got 3 for 33, which thankfully it regulated the market, because before that you had the Saints overpaying Alvin Kamara, which was that was not good for us at all. I think that was an in-season extension actually, but it was something he was probably using as like leverage. And then obviously, all the other running back contracts that are there. I think Derrick Henry was one of them. So yeah, it wasn't great. The running back market. Yeah, I'm not the hugest guy on paying running backs, but James Cook is, elite. So
Well, it
our
depends
offense would have
because
taken
running
a huge
backs
hit without him.
running backs are replaceable, but it also comes down to like there's not a lot of running backs that are like James Cook, Saquon Barkley. I mean, when you got guys like them, it is hard to find a replacement for them. I mean, if you look at past draft classes, there've been a lot of studs, but like Jameer Gibbs and Bijan, you got guys like hey, I don't care what anybody says. Scatabo will finish top 5 this year in running backs now.
Shaden, get him.
It is hard to find a replacement running back for guys with the skill set of a guy like James Cook. But if you need a guy that'll get you a gritty 5 yards, then go ahead, draft a 6th round running back out of freaking Temple. But if you need a guy that'll make those 40-yard rushes and still break a tackle into the end zone, then get you a James Cook, and you can't really replace those guys that fast.
I agree. All right. Does anyone else have anything to say before we move to our next game? Any Jets Bills?
I just got to round out on James Cook. I just think
before you say this, farewell. I hope you guys
Alright.
have a great rest of your
Torrance
night.
hopping off.
Enjoy this.
I can put
I
the
have
image
a
of
coaching
John
class to
back
go
on the
to.
screen now.
Yeah, sorry. I paid $65 for this coaching class. I can't miss it. So I hope you are all having a great rest of your night. And John's top 10 QB list is awful.
We wish
Have a
you
great
were
night.
here to discuss the QBs. We'll see you.
Thank you, Torrin.
Farewell.
Just to finish up on James Cook, it won't take me long, but I think James Cook's best ability is his awareness and his ball carrier vision. Shown it over the last 3 years, especially 2 years ago, but he just finds creases like back cuts and everything that I don't know how he finds. Not a lot of like running backs in general can make. When you look at I think it was his first or second touchdown, honestly, against the Jets though, where he's tangled up and he makes the back cut and he goes down the right sideline. Like no running back out an elite ball carrier vision is doing that. He does it all the time. He finds holes that no one else thinks are there. So that's my input on James Cook.
All right. We are going to move to probably game of the week. First OT game of the year. Giants, Cowboys. Who all caught this game? Like, who actually watched? I did. I was tuned in.
I got a couple of things from it. But
I watched
didn't-
on Red
I wasn't
Zone.
able to watch it consistently.
All
How does
right.
that work?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just want to make sure nobody didn't know much about it, just so we know if anyone
I
just
caught the
wants to
important
start up,
bits.
this was
Mhm.
a barn. But we talked a lot of shit about Russ last
Mhm.
week, and he just shoved it down our mouths and said,
Oh,
"I'm not
yeah.
washed." Until
I
that
got
pick
some.
in
I mean,
OT.
that was a very bad interception. But I got numbers. I mean, I got numbers. I always got
Hold
numbers,
on.
so
Until we cannot say Russell Wilson is not washed until he plays like 2 more games like this.
That's
okay?
true. That's the
We-
Cowboys
until he
secondary
beats
is
the
really
Chiefs on
bad.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah. The
If he beats the
Cowboys-
Chiefs on Monday Night Football, I'll put him in my top 10.
If he beats the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, we're having some uncomfortable conversations about Patrick Mahomes. But
I'm gonna be throwing a party. at
you're
my
the
house
guy.
about that.
I won't say I don't want to overreact. I'm obviously saying because we just talked a lot of shit about Russ.
Crazy
last week.
game.
There's
Legacy game. That's a legacy
Yeah.
game.
You have he has a Super Bowl ring, but maybe legacy game for the tail end of his career. But
Yeah.
I will say,
So he's
and I'm
not
gonna,
just completely gone.
I'm gonna get into this later. I don't think you understand how bad the Cowboys secondary is. They didn't have Deron Bland for the game, and even him as a ball hawk who gets a lot of interceptions is prone to being burnt in single coverage. And then you have Trayvon Diggs, who I don't think we have to tell the truth about anymore. He's just bad. And you have Kyer Elam, who it has allowed the most yards in the league. And as Bills fans, we have seen how abysmal this guy is in man coverage, especially. He's when he's supposed to be this man corner, he didn't like our system because it wasn't comparable to the Florida Gators, I guess. So he gets traded to this new team, and now he's playing arguably worse than he did when he started off on the Bills, when he wasn't too bad. He would make some plays, an interception on Patrick Mahomes on a, nationally televised game at the 420, the CBS claimed 425 slot game in his rookie year. And then since then, tailed off, lost a spot on the roster. We somehow got assets for him, and now he's playing even worse. And Malik Neighbors had him and Trayvon Diggs just regretting ever touching a football. But the Dallas secondary is going to be a problem for them this year. And it really sucks for Dak.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be the strong part of their defense right now. Questions at linebacker and defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Russ had himself a game. He went 73.2% on his completion rate for 450 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns. Obviously, that bad interception in overtime. I know we were just bashing on passer rating, but I still include it just because, people have opinions on it. But he finished with a passer rating of 123 on the dot. But yeah, it wasn't just Malik Neighbors. It was also his partner in crime who has skyrocketed up the wide receiver chain recently, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to read you their numbers real quick. Malik Neighbors had 9 receptions for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just absolutely absurd. Fried Kyrie Elam on what I thought was going to be the game-winning touchdown. Then Wandell Robinson finished with 8 receptions for 142 yards and a touchdown. Just absolutely cooking that secondary, like you said. But I think one of my big talking points for this game is actually the Giants' defensive line. Every time I turned on the game, because I was working, but I still had Red Zone on, so anytime I could look at my phone, all I was seeing was Dak getting pressured and hit time after time again. So the front for the Giants was causing a huge issues for the Cowboys. They finished with 3 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, and 7 quarterback hits. And then I like to show love to rookies too. Not a huge day on the ground for Scatabo, but he finished with 45 yards and his first career rushing touchdown. And he looks incredible for the small sample size. He already won, I think, an angry run scepter in week 1, and he just great pass blocker, runs people over, just gets me fired up, man. I love it. I love it. Just as a football
yeah.
player, seeing him absolutely run through people and take these blitzing linebackers, just put them on their ass. It's amazing, man. Let me tell you about Scatabo. But to also highlight the other quarterback that played against the Giants, Dak Prescott. Great game out of Dak. 73.1% completion percentage for 361 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, a pick, 96.7 passer rating. And in the fourth quarter and overtime alone, Dak went 15 of 20 for 187 total yards of offense with 1 touchdown and a 116.9 passer rating. One of those plays being the big scramble in overtime to set up the Brandon Aubrey field goal. Just absolutely unreal game for Dak.
Do you have Aubrey's numbers?
I know he went 4 for 4. I think the game winning was 46 yards.
His longest was like 64 or 60 something.
He had a
to send the
64
game to
yarder.
overtime.
He's the best kicker in the game.
23 fantasy points, by the way. 23
Easy.
fantasy points for your boy.
Oh, you got dude. He does have Aubrey. I forget. John's too
Another-
fantasy man. We don't have a fantasy segment this
Another
week. but
crazy-
John beat Torin pretty badly, actually. He
He's
whooped him.
trash. He's overrated.
He beat
but
him by
I'm
like
also
40.
into,
He
so
beat
I
him by
can't
like
talk.
40 points. James Cook, Brandon Aubrey, Jamar Chase, deadly team.
Yeah,
this
like
week
41
from John.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamar Chase got me 36. James Cook got me 26. But CeeDee Lamb made up for his last week's performance, by the way, with 112 yards on 9 receptions. No tug though, no tug. But
George Pickens in the clutch
I think
was crazy, too.
he was 1 yard over our favorite number, by the way.
Oh, he had 68.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter.
I would
and
also-
whatever. He also there was a really bad OPI call on Pickens that like almost cost them the game. Luckily, it didn't end up doing anything because the Giants' defense down the stretch, the D line got a little worse in the second half. Javonte Williams mainly was able to open up the run game towards the stretch, and then of course the Russ pick, but.
Yeah, I was going to say another strong rushing game for Javonte Williams, 97 yards and a touchdown. It was mainly in the second half, too, because in the first half, the Cowboys really couldn't get anything going against that defensive line, like I said. But an interesting stat for Dak Prescott, actually. Since 2017, Dak Prescott has now had the most consecutive wins by a starting quarterback against the same team since 1980, with 14 wins against the Giants. That's insane.
That's ridiculous.
I think if I remember correctly, they haven't beaten Dak since he was a rookie in 2016.
That's ridiculous.
just-
I did not know that because I knew
That's ownership.
That's
That is ownership right there.
the
That
longest
is-
streak before that was probably what Mahomes against Denver, maybe for a while until
I
recently.
know. I think it was Tom. I think it was Tom Brady, probably against the Bills or something like
Oh,
that. It was a Tom Brady stat.
Yeah.
And then there was
probably.
another one too. I was gonna write it down, but it was taking up a lot of space in my notes, so I just kept the Dak one in there. But Brady was the 2. I forget what team it was against.
I feel like the Giants just shot themselves in the foot. Like they should have won the game. That's why Russ is in the thumbnail of this video. He gave them every opportunity besides the OT pick. I'm not gonna hold that one thing against him. Like he balled out. The moon ball was on. Unlimited moon balls this game. And I feel like mainly like the defense, there was some undisciplined flow. There were some penalties. They were costly for the Giants as well in the stretch. I feel like they gave up the opportunities they had to win the game, and they were given multiple opportunities to win the game. Russ gave them that. And then OT had me thinking the game was going to end in a tie. We had turnovers, we had punts, we had the whole thing.
We had it all.
Yeah, it was a great game. I don't know. That was just
By
first
the
OT
way-
game of the year. It was awesome.
By the way, Russell Wilson was a major factor in a game that almost totaled for 1,000 total yards of offense. With both teams' total offenses combined, it came to 984. The Giants had 506 total yards of offense, and the Cowboys had 478.
You got the numbers today.
That was a Russell Wilson game. That is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. You had
That, like I said, that for the back end of his career, that is a legacy game for Russell Wilson. That is going to be something he's probably going to be remembered for, at least as a New York.
This is
Giant
not
for
Seattle.
the rest of his career.
this is not Seattle.
That's just an insane game. You don't see people throw for that much in a single game, like almost ever, and especially in the era where you like we have now with all these passing offenses and the spread and all the veer and shoots. Like it's just insane when you see something like this. Especially in week 2.
In week
In
2
week
of
1, you got
offense.
people throwing for like 170, or like occasionally someone throws for like 394. But like week 2 of the NFL season.
We still had our fair share of bad QB play. We'll get in that in the next game. But Jake, you said you caught this game too. Do you have anything on it?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much mainly what you guys are saying. I definitely think this is like a legacy game for Russ. I mean, I don't remember him playing that well since he was in Seattle, like, which is crazy. I think part of it definitely has to do with the secondary that he played. Like, I think this is, as much as I want to give Russ his credit, I think this is a lot of a testament to like the Cowboys secondary just being absolute shite. But if Russ can play like that for a couple more weeks and prove himself, I think he might be legit. But I mean, you look at the schedule, like you got the Chiefs and the Chargers the next 2 weeks. It's going to be very tough. This was really when they needed to win. I think the Giants needed to win if they wanted to even have a chance at like really thinking about playoffs. But I know you guys have probably seen the memes of like people picking the Giants to go 0-17. Their schedule's just brutal. So going to be very hard to replicate a performance this good. And the fact they still lost is pretty unfortunate.
Yeah. Shout out to, I believe it is. Let me find it here. Someone in the TikTok comments brought it to my attention that the Giants, being the 3rd worst team in the league last year, had the hardest remaining strength of schedule. Shout out to Clay Holman on TikTok. He commented that the other day, and I was like, I went to the draft order and was like, oh, Cleveland, but then I remembered the trades and everything that went down, so I was like, oh, it's the Giants. Yeah, they have the hardest remaining strength of schedule. They're in the NFC East, and they drew the AFC West. And
Very unlucky.
Unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, Russ, man, have we seen this play since like little 2020 Russ Wilson? 2020 Russ. What do you guys know about 2020 Russ Wilson?
Bills Seahawks. What do you know about
broke
that,
that man? I was gonna say we broke that man, but before that, the Seahawks offense was phenomenal that year. And I don't think we've seen that
Wasn't
level
that,
of play from Russ since that.
Was that
season.
rookie DK Metcalf? Was
That's
that
second
DK
year
Metcalf's
DK?
rookie?
That is
Second
second
year?
year
Oh,
Hawking
that was
Buda Baker.
empty
DK
stadiums year.
Metcalf. Yep. That is my favorite NFL season. I don't know. I feel like one day we should.
That was
talk
peak
about
NFL
20s.
for some reason. You had Aaron Rodgers and Brady duking it out in the NFC Championship.
When Brady threw
Patrick
3 picks
Mahomes
won.
and Josh. Yeah, Scotty Miller with a huge freaking reception down.
We tell the truth
What was
about
his name?
Brady.
Cooking. What's his name? Tom Brady's a goat. Tom Brady's the goat. Nobody
Okay.
will ever touch that man.
You're right, and
The
I'll get into
glorious
that.
king.
I'll get into that when we talk about Mahomes today.
Panthers Cardinals was fire.
Panthers Cardinals was
Cardinals defense almost sold to Bryce Young
although
in the Big 25.
it wasn't to Bryce Young. It was penalties on Bryce Young in that final stretch of like whatever 5 minutes. A Panthers fan, I saw this on Twitter. He didn't even complete a pass. It was incompletion, some runs, and then,
No.
and then a
He didn't
Cardinals
complete a
defender
pass. He
would commit a
moved-
penalty.
He only moved downfield. They only moved downfield because Bryce Young wasn't completing passes. They only moved downfield because there was two roughing the passer calls. I believe one defensive pass interference, if I'm not mistaken. Either pass
Yeah.
interference or holding.
Defensive
held the
holding
field.
and pass
And of
interference, I think it
course,
was
though,
both.
when you have the ball in Bryce Young's hand, he saved his job for this week, but he's still in the hot seat going into next week. He saved his job for one more week. But if he, can't consist like he did the entire freaking fourth quarter, gonna be benched week 3 for who's even their backup quarterback? Who's the Panthers' backup
Dalton's
quarterback?
still there, I believe.
It's
Right?
still Dalton.
I
It's still
think so.
Dalton. Wow.
Yeah.
The Red Rocket.
They got Atlanta next week. That D line is going to eat him alive. We'll get into Minnesota. in a
AJ
second.
Terrell's gonna have like 2 picks.
Yeah, because
No, the ball
Bryce
doesn't even
Young,
get to the secondary.
Bryce Young in the first 8 minutes of the game had a fumble lost and a pick, and I thought we were about to see like a guy lose his job in real time, and then somehow they stuck with it. Kyler looked okay. Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know where he's at. Like, we just haven't really seen much, I suppose. He's Trey
Ohio State players
McBride
for
is
ya.
still easily the best weapon on the team, and even like James Conner and Trey Benson as a running back duo have been more productive than MHJ. I feel like last week the connection was on. This week MHJ went back to being quiet. Part of it's the connection, part of it's whatever. Kyler had a crazy run. He's never beating the toddler run allegations, but he had a great specific run that I thought he was about to like take for a touchdown. It was short, but it was probably of like 40 plus yards. That was another good game that I didn't even have on our agenda. I want to move into, just because for time purposes, I want to move into Eagles Chiefs. That's what we got next.
I'll get mine right out of the way because I don't have much to say about this game.
I do.
I bet you do. So I'm just gonna get out of the way. I thought this was a very boring game. I couldn't fathom to watch this game. So my player of the game is rookie safety Andrew Makuba, who had 5 tackles, an interception that. Come on, Travis Kelce, what are we doing here? Travis Kelce, I'm talking to you. I'm talking through this camera to you. What are we doing here?
We wiped the
Yeah,
Kelsey
he had a
podcast.
Yeah, we have a interception off of Travis Kelce's hands that goes into the waiting arms of Makuba. He also had half a sack, because why not? But neither offense played that impressive to me. It was like a defensive slugfest, which is probably why I thought it was so boring. But just a couple of highlights. I only got really 2 things. Chiefs rookie offensive tackle Josh Simmons, had a 87.8 pass blocking grade with 36 pass blocking snaps and allowed 0 pressures against the Eagles. Really good for a spot that they've been looking to fill for so long now at tackle to protect Mahomes. And then just a little thing, mainly to I saw the stat and I figured I don't know if it'd make Brandon mad or not. So the Eagles ran 7 tush pushes, which was 11.7% of their offensive snaps. I'll leave it at that.
All I see is Hurts beat Mahomes again. That's all I see. I'm not
by
gonna
throwing the
sit
ball
here and
behind
shit
the
on
line of
Hurts.
scrimmage and no higher than 5 yards.
I'm not gonna sit here and shit on Hurts because the Eagles play calling has been pissing me off. They are playing like
You're the guy.
They just won the Super Bowl and are playing like more conservative than first half Joe Brady and the Buffalo Bills, and it's making me mad. The game was really boring. The Chiefs are the most boring good team in the NFL. And I want to get into something real quick about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, because all I see all over like Twitter and the Chiefs Kingdom and whatever is this argument, this narrative that Mahomes has no help. Give me a break. And I want to preface, I understand there's a banged up receiver room. I understand the offensive line is declining. I understand that your run game sucks because, oh, what a surprise, your 7th round running back came down to earth and you employ Kareem Hunt in 2025. Are we shocked that they don't have a crazy run game? No. Mahomes, all of 2024, had QB play like this. But he got an excuse because they were winning and they were like 9-0. Now they're 0-2. And the AFC West is competitive now. Justin Herbert's 2-0. Geno Smith and Bo Nix are 1-1 apiece. Mahomes recently has been dropping at least one division game to the Broncos and Raiders, and he's already dropped one to Justin Herbert. And you have this play that's continuing for Mahomes that just doesn't look like him. His deep ball is now just gone. I don't know where that went. It's similar to what I see with Josh Allen, but Josh makes up for it everywhere else that Mahomes seems to not do. Besides scrambling, Mahomes, I feel like, is getting better as a scrambler. He's just elite at that. They'll never take that away from him. He's in the tier of Lamar and Josh in terms of scrambling and evading sacks, for sure. I'm not going to take that away. But the argument of him having no help, I'm going to do something I never do, and I'm going to glaze Tom Brady. You have this Chiefs offensive system is probably still better than certain offensive systems that Brady has won Super Bowls with. You have Tom Brady taking grocery baggers and turning them into household names that your uncle will drop on Thanksgiving. You have Tom Brady who took Julian Edelman to the point where there are legit conversations about whether or not he should be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Brady didn't have help, because that's far from it. Brady had his fair share of elite defenses and Bill Belichick and elite offensive weapons. And I'm a little salty. He had his fair share of luck as well, and some calls in some playoff games, and we'll agree to disagree on that. But when he's taking guys like Danny Amendola, Chris Hogan, running back rooms of Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel, James White, and winning Super Bowls, why are we sitting here with the same people who try to act like there's a GOAT argument, or that Mahomes is like the QB2 all time, which I don't personally think he is. I'm not ready to put him above Joe Montana or even Peyton Manning. If you do, that's fine. But there's no GOAT debate. It's not even close. Because I want to ask you guys this. Is there a major difference, really? Like, I think this Chiefs offensive system they have right now, even with the injuries, is extremely comparable to the Bills' 2024 offense. Am I crazy for saying that this no help narrative is literally just what Josh Allen was playing with last year, besides a better run game is like the only thing, and a wash for that is that Mahomes gets to play with an offensive-minded head coach in Andy Reid? Am I crazy for saying that besides that, Allen took a similar system and won an MVP?
There's only two things really that separate that, and is that the Bills by far have the much better offensive line, and the Bills also by far have the much better run game. But otherwise, yeah, because, I mean, at the moment, yes, because Mahomes has a lot less around him. If he had Rashee Rice and if Xavier Worthy was healthy, then it'd be a little bit more of an argument, I guess. But at the moment, yes. And it doesn't help when this second greatest apparently tight end of all time, who people think is better than Rob Gronkowski.
Gronk wipes Kelsey.
Ever since they beat Philly in that first Super Bowl, just seems to like magically gone away. I don't understand. It is something that, like, now that I think about, genuinely puzzles me, is what happened to Travis Kelce.
He started dating Taylor Swift.
He did.
No, not even. You look at Travis Kelce since the Super Bowl. The lack of effort, it disgusts me as a football player. You see clips of Patrick Mahomes running around for his life, trying to escape that Philly defense in the Super Bowl last year, and there's Travis Kelce, just standing in the middle of the field, not going to block for his quarterback, not going to help his quarterback up, complaining, hitting his head coach, literally shoving Andy Reid. In the game on Sunday, he says, "I'm tired of this shit." Because he's playing bad, and because of that, the team around him is also playing bad. He makes really easy catches look hard. He drops easy passes. He doesn't try to find the open hole in the zone like he used to. He doesn't give any effort. It's horrendous.
You're
it's
spitting
disgusting.
right now, bro. You're cooking.
And if I'm being real with however much money he's making and the fact that he's aging, it's time to move on. I might be crazy for this, but I think it's past the point. I don't care that, like, you're the second best quarterback tight end duo since Brady and Gronk. That doesn't matter. Travis Kelce, the last time real Travis Kelce showed up was against the Bills in the divisional game about like a year or two ago in Highmark. Otherwise, Travis Kelce's gone. His attitude's down the toilet because he's not used to losing. Like, this is the worst start the Chiefs have had since 2014, and I think this is the first time Mahomes has been 0-2 since he was in high school. Like, problem isn't just the fact that Mahomes' production has gone down. It's the people around him, and it starts with number 87. Travis Kelce needs to get it together if the Chiefs want to succeed. You saw that the defense can still play, but without Travis Kelce with this offense right now, it's bad. It's really, really bad.
Nate's fired up.
Literally, just it's literally just Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not trying to use it as a scapegoat. You got to recognize, like, it doesn't matter sometimes how talented you are because you're not a Lamar, you're not Allen, you're not 6'5", 240, and you're not this crazy elusive guy that can turn 3rd and 15 into first down, right? You are Patrick Mahomes, who has pretty good accuracy and like an underrated scramble game. But I'm sorry, you're not at it's going to get into my top 10 quarterback list later. You're not at the level of the other two anymore. Ever since Matt Nagy has become the OC in Kansas City, numbers have shown, man. And
Hold on.
If the Chiefs,
He's cooking, bro. He's let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook.
I got one more thing. The reason, too, in my opinion, when you look at the Chiefs, when the Chiefs are rolling, you look back to the championship game. They're able to get a couple of good runs off. They get like 3 or 4 good yards per carry, right? It's the RPOs, those little hitch routes to Hollywood Brown, those quick hitting passes to turn into run after catch. That's what Kansas City needs to get back to doing. Too much drop back, too much trying to force the ball downfield, letting the defense just tee off on your quarterback. Get it out of Mahomes' hands quick. Let the receivers do the work after the catch. You saw it a little bit against the Chargers week 1 in Brazil. You've seen it against the Bills multiple times, specifically in last year's championship game, where before the fumble in the championship game, all they're doing, Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, up the middle, outside, quick slant, quick hitch to Hollywood Brown. It is like, again, it's not the most exciting offense, but it's production. Mahomes is throwing it with under a second, just like Tua does. Get the ball out quick, get it to your playmakers, let them do the work. That's all I have to say. I digress.
Oh my God, John, go ahead. Whatever, John
Hold
or
on,
Jake,
so
whatever you guys wanted to say.
no,
but we
I
just
was
had-
gonna say Jake
wow.
needs to talk because I haven't heard Jake's beautiful voice this entire podcast, and he's just standing there looking pretty. So I think we need to hear that voice a little bit because he hasn't talked much. So now that Nate yapped a little bit, he's only speaking facts, but I want to hear Jake's
He's
opinion on some
cooking.
things.
That's a short for
He
sure.
is cooking.
Bro.
He is cooking, but
Yeah.
They
Jake
just gave us some
needs to talk.
content.
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs fans, shit's gonna hit real hard, real fast because you got the Giants next week. That should be a win. Then you got the Ravens, Jaguars, and Lions. I think you're losing to the Ravens and Lions based off what I've seen the first 2 weeks,
Cook.
and that's gonna put you at 2-4. And you got the Chargers and the Broncos in your division now, who are legit contenders, like at least for the division. So yeah, and I know trying to think, when is Rice's suspension up?
6 weeks in.
Do
It's
we
a
know?
6-week suspension.
He's coming back week
7.
7.
Okay, yeah. So that's gonna come having him will help somewhat, but yeah, I'm very concerned, like Nate said, with Kelsey's attitude and
It's terrible.
not looking good. It's
not
not
the
looking good in
GOAT.
Kansas City.
Well, then if we're gonna talk about Travis Kelce's digression, I mean, we have to look here, right? Right. Josh Allen got better once he started dating Haley Steinfeld, right? All right. Justin Herbert got better when he started dating Madison Beer,
Good.
right? Right. So we're looking at
Are we
Travis
serious right
Kelce. What's he dating? Taylor Swift,
Mid.
right?
That's what
Now-
he's dating. He's dating
now-
mid.
No.
Probably the biggest
all I'm
pop
s-
icon female in the whole world.
Yes,
Don't
yes,
care.
I'm not
great,
trying to
great
glaze.
singer,
Not trying to
great
glaze.
singer, great singer. I'm just saying, Haley Steinfeld, Madison Beer, Taylor Swift.
They're in there. There's levels to this shit, John. I see the vision. I know what you're saying.
There are levels.
There are levels.
I'll
to
say
this
one
shit.
thing. I'll say one more thing, and mainly I'm talking to Chiefs fans because I don't want to sound like
I
we're
hope it didn't
bashing them
scare
the whole
off any
time. Even
potential
though we're,
female fan base with that. But go on.
I'll say this though, because we're Bills fans, and it wasn't always pretty in the Josh Allen era right away. But fans gotta understand, you were blessed. Patrick Mahomes came into this great situation. You got this dynasty. You've enjoyed it, right? You can't panic because you're off to an 0-2 start. There's a lot of football left, a lot of season left. We can't just look at this 1 year and be like, "Oh my God, we're terrible." No. Sometimes you need to take a retool. Whether that's and clearly there needs to be a retool, right? So regardless of how the season finishes out, you got to look at, okay, what do we need? Where can we fix up some areas, and just take it from there? Because you got to remember, Mahomes has a lot of football left. He's still one of the great. He's still like the
He
top
turned
3
30
quarterback
today.
in the NFL. Yeah, we cannot press the panic button on the whole shebang right now. We got to just accept the fact that we're overreacting to 2 really bad weeks of football that have stemmed since the Super Bowl.
Are we overreacting?
So-
There's-
This just stems
I'm
more than
thinking
from
when
just
There's a
the
lot-
Super Bowl,
listen,
Nate.
when
Mahomes'
it comes
play
to the
was not
offseason-
good in 2024.
when it
Well,
comes
we're
to the
acting like the
offseason-
world is going to end, though. It's not. Mahomes is still Mahomes, and sure, they haven't looked great. They really haven't. And I understand last year they were winning football games, so it covers it up a lot. But take a minute, retool. It's not going to be hard to find some studs to get around in this team, and we're going to be looking at it to be probably another powerhouse back in the AFC.
Once
the
Rasheed
answer is
Rice
not
is
Tyreek
back,
Hill.
once Rasheed Rice is back, and once Travis Kelce stops injuring his teammates, I think they'll have the receiving core back. They'll have Xavier Worthy, Rasheed Rice. I think this offseason now they look at a tight end replacement. I don't think they trade Travis Kelce. I think Travis Kelce is going to retire as a Chief.
You meant to.
But they need to draft a tight end. I mean, I don't know much about the tight end class that's coming in next year's draft. I don't know who's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. But I'm thinking offseason they need to go tight end. That's probably their main priority. But not only that, they need a running back. Isaiah
Dawson
Pacheco
Knox.
is not him. He's not your running back one. We would not give the Chiefs a Dawson Knox. We would not give the Chiefs Dawson Knox. I mean, he's not that
They can
good,
have
but
him.
we wouldn't.
He lost
I mean,
his
yeah,
hand,
but
so
I
dude
still,
sucks.
I still don't think they deserve Dawson Knox. That's my baby boy.
Stinks.
But they need a tailback. And really and then after that, just kind of fill in the offensive line. They've tried to patch holes in their offensive line, but really they just need studs. They need dogs because Patrick Mahomes is still having to run. He's still, he can't sit in the pocket comfortably, and they can't open up holes for running backs.
No, they can't.
Actually, I have something to say.
Tyreek Hill.
This is really
We've had a
bad.
lot of things to
If
say.
they trade for Tyreek Hill, and that's their retool, and they add another locker room cancer to a Cook Travis Kelce, like that, the locker room is going to explode if they trade for Tyreek Hill, because he's not. Part of it obviously is Miami's regression, but dude, Tyreek Hill is not Tyreek Hill anymore. At least from what we've seen.
Too focused on a lot
For
of
the
Look,
last
Tua
2
can't throw a
years.
ball further than 30. Tua can't throw a ball further than 30 yards.
But
I mean,
even in terms of like Tyreek Hill's, this is what I hear from Dolphins fans who have said that like they're more so mad at his quality of play in terms of his explosiveness and his separation. It's just not what it was, to my understanding.
Tua had a
I don't
Tyreek
watch
Hill
enough
wide
Dolphins
open.
film to know, but I mean, I would
Tua had
figure
a wide open Tyreek Hill inside of the opposing red zone and leads him so far out of bounds when Tyreek Hill was wide open for a solid 10 yards at least going across the field. All I'm saying is Tua, it's not entirely Tyreek because
no, definitely
I don't
not.
think Tyreek.
It's a 50-50.
I don't think
It's 50-50.
I wouldn't call Tyreek Hill washed. I would say Tua Tagovailoa is just that ass that he makes Tyreek Hill look more washed than he actually is.
I won't argue with that.
I completely agree, John.
I won't argue calling Tua ass.
I
will,
love my Bama boys. I love my Bama boys, but Tua is ass.
Gotta be honest.
Bryce Young is ass. They're almost as bad as Ohio
AJ
State
McCarron.
quarterbacks are.
Mac Jones had a win
AJ
this week.
McCarron. Yeah, Mac Jones is the best Alabama
I-
quarterback in the last couple of years, I'd say.
Had a successful
crazy.
2021 rookie season. I mean, what has Tua done?
John, you're
Well, he
right.
led the league
There
in
are
passing
a
yards
lot
one
of
time.
things.
That was it.
There are a lot of things, John, that really got me fired up this week when I didn't think Cam Scatterbo was gonna get me that fired up, but it did. And I went on my little Chiefs tangent because, well, it felt needed at the time. But now there's something that we uploaded because someone had a take. And it's really been irking at me because I feel like it's a giant overreaction. And that's Torrance' take on Daniel Jones.
Are we
I'm
talking
gonna
about
say some
Broncos
stuff
Colts? Are we
now.
going to get into Broncos Colts?
Yes, I'm segmenting. Yeah, I was about to segment into this, right? Now,
I did not
I
catch
don't
this
want.
game.
I'm gonna read a list of stats, right? And they're all gonna glorify the Colts mainly and Daniel Jones and all that good stuff, right? The Colts are playing phenomenal. It's perfect. But I'm gonna say this right now. I'm tired of Warren's take of Daniel Jones is gonna finish his top 15 because it's a system. Daniel Jones in this system, it works. He's got weapons. He's got an elite run game. He's got an above average to really good quality starting offensive line. Daniel Jones doesn't have to do much. He vultures touchdowns on the 1 yard line from Jonathan Taylor, and he just makes passes that he's expected to hit. I'm not going to overhype Daniel Jones and be like, oh, he's this prodigy top 15 quarterback now because he's played good for 2 weeks of football, and I just needed to get that off my chest. But for Broncos Colts, Daniel Jones is my player of the game. Sorry, he had a 67.7 completion percentage for 316 yards and a touchdown. But it's more than just Daniel Jones, right? Jonathan Taylor, really he's showing that he's still Jonathan Taylor. I mean, that one season wasn't just a fluke. He had a dominant game with 165 yards on the ground and 215 total yards of offense. That is insane, and that looks like prime Jonathan Taylor from, I believe, 2021, if I remember, where he led the league in rushing.
Killed us.
The Colts
yeah.
The Colts are also the first team in the Super Bowl era to not punt in either of their first two games. Another insane stat by a team that is, led by Daniel Jones.
I have one more.
I'm not trying to draw too much data.
If you don't say it, I have a stat as well that I saw from the Colts offense.
The Colts are also the first team in NFL history to score on each of their first 10 offensive possessions of the season.
That was what I was going to say. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
Efficiency
crazy.
To its peak. No, just wait. There's more, and I know I was just shitting on Daniel Jones. Well, I'm not shitting on Daniel Jones, but we gotta understand that. Okay, let's relax. Really good team, really good defense. Right?
Feels like a shot at
Daniel Jones.
Because you even said vulturing touchdowns on the 1 yard line.
Oh yeah, I wonder who else does that. But I respect Jalen Hurts a little bit more right now because he's proved himself and he has a resume.
Good.
Daniel Jones, through his first 2 games as a Colt, has a 74.2 adjusted completion percentage. 616 total yards of offense, 5 total touchdowns. The big stat here is 0 turnovers, which you watch back the Giants film and it wasn't pretty. With a 111.1 passer rating, and if I recall, most of those touchdowns he has are on the ground. Again, vulturing from Jonathan Taylor. Against the blitz, because he played the Broncos, a really aggressive defense and a defense that likes to blitz a lot, especially on third down. Daniel Jones against the blitz in the Broncos game had a 72% adjusted completion percentage, 268 passing yards, 2 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays, and 116.8 passer rating. Again, that is out of this world. That is amazing. In the Daniel Jones era, the Colts are 2-0 and average about 31 points per game, which is why I want to say, very good system, a lot of great players. A little thing here, too, about the Colts is their rookie tight end, Tyler Warren, currently leads all tight ends in receiving with 155 yards. Absolute dog. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Tyler Warren actually got to run the football on Sunday, which I thought was insane.
Wow.
To look at the other side, to kind of wrap up my little segment here, because it's a lot of numbers and analytics and talking about Daniel Jones.
We don't need numbers to say that Bo Nix is ass.
Oh, yeah, but I'm about to get into some Bo Nix stuff, just because I wanted to point out the game he had.
All right.
73% completion percentage, 206 passing yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Huge bounce back week despite the loss, and
Still sucks.
a couple of questionable plays. But compared to last
Smith
week,
is a top 5 quarterback in the
10 times
NFL.
better.
Who is? Who is John?
Geno Smith is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Okay, random, but
Then to close out my little rant and statistical run here, I just wanted to point out there was a little bit of a breakthrough game for Broncos wide receiver Troy Franklin, who played at Oregon with Bo Nix. Actually related, I believe it's like there's some relation between them. I remember seeing it on this YouTube video, like whether I think Franklin was adopted into Nix's family. It's kind of crazy, but Franklin had his breakthrough game. He had 8 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. Every time I saw the Broncos throw the ball, it seemed to be to Troy Franklin, and it was always a big game. So I just wanted to praise him a little bit.
okay. Jake and John, I didn't catch this game, so I'm gonna kind of give you guys the floor to say whatever
What
you
game?
want
Wait,
here.
what? I'm sorry. What game were we talking about? I
Broncos
wasn't-
Colts.
Broncos Colts. All right, that ending was wild. I caught the ending of it. I was watching Red Zone. I caught the ending of it. I mean, I saw the missed field goal. That was,
call was
they got
ridiculous.
bailed out so hard.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones though. Indiana Jones is a thing. I feel like Indiana Jones is a thing, and I can agree with Torn. Daniel Jones will finish the season as a top 15 quarterback in the NFL.
Oh my god.
Honestly,
Oh
in
my God.
realism, I think do the Chiefs and Colts play this year?
They might. I don't know.
By the way, if the Chiefs and Colts play, I think Indiana Jones can rally up a win to beat Patrick Mahomes.
Brandon,
and the
Brandon,
Kansas
get him.
City Chiefs.
What are these people saying?
6 years of Daniel Jones. You guys know what he is, okay? Let's calm down.
Yeah,
I'm Daniel
it's only
Jones.
2 weeks. It's only 2 weeks,
Top
but if by
15.
mid-season the Colts are playing the way that they are and they are winning football games, if by mid-season the Colts finish above 500,
Are you saying it's going to be because of Daniel Jones?
I mean, they got Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr. But I mean, hey, Daniel
So you're
Jones.
saying it's going to be because it's going to be more than Daniel Jones. It's not just because Daniel Jones.
This is what I want to say about that absurd take that I didn't say last week. For him to be top 15, he has to be better than at least 2 of the quarterbacks I'm about to name based off my top 10. He'll have to be better than at least 2 of the, like, you have to rank him as a better quarterback than at least 2 of these players. Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Geno Smith, Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud. Is there one more that I'm forgetting?
Here's the deal: Brock Purdy's injured for what 5 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Brock Purdy's out. We don't know how he's going to bounce back.
Been to a Super Bowl, right?
I understand he's been to 2 Super Bowls. I understand. Wait, no, he hasn't been to 2 Super Bowls. He's been to 1 Super Bowl.
Sorry, one. Sorry,
He's been
I'm thinking
won
of the other
2
49ers.
NFC Championships game.
Jalen Hurts
And
has
2
been
NFC
to 2.
Championships games. Jalen Hurts has been to 2. But what's it called? Anyway, Daniel Jones. I mean, if they can finish at midseason above 500, and Daniel Jones has consistent statistics, I don't see why we couldn't put him at maybe 15, 16. All right, 16, 15. I don't see if he doesn't continue to put up good numbers and they finish above 500, I don't see why we
He's a
couldn't
game
put him at
manager.
16.
He's a game manager.
Game managers have
It's
to.
a
I
system.
feel like game managers to be like to.
He's
that-
Mac Jones.
Whereas,
he's
but
not.
here's the thing,
No,
when
he
it
is not
comes to-
Mac Jones. Let's calm down. Okay, listen. This is
Mac
my. I
Jones
feel
in
like
1 week is
game managers that started off their career as bad as Daniel Jones did for as long as Daniel Jones was ass. It's going to take more than 1 full season of consistent game manager play with winning football games for them to be top 15. Think about how long it took us to rank Jared Goff in the top, 12 area. It was his 3rd season with Detroit where we're finally like, okay, yeah, like he's getting it together.
2022.
Because even then they were still like
no,
below
from
500.
2022 on, like 2022 onwards.
Okay, well, if we're talking about
2021
players
was his
ranking
first season with
highly-
2021 was his first season with Detroit. They were the worst team in the league. Then 2022
whenever
they were
we're
like a
talking about-
gritty team, and then 2023 they had a really good draft year and they made the playoffs and were really like yeah. And then 2024 they're the 1 seed, and then we're like okay. So after 1 year, you cannot put Daniel Jones in no top 15. I don't care what they do. You just can't. There's not enough substance. There's not enough volume there. I can't do it.
You have to look at this like Sam Darnold last year. Like, where do you guys rank Sam Darnold after last year? I don't think I agree.
Pretty high.
1 year isn't enough to change the entire 6 years before of his career. Yeah, I think the Giants are shit, and I think they played a factor into why he's been such a bad quarterback. But I agree with B. Crone. He's going to need a couple years to turn it around in order to actually prove himself as a better than mid quarterback.
Exactly.
I would think not as bad, like not. I don't want to say not like nowhere near the caliber of like a Daniel Jones, but we're going to talk about quarterbacks that have had to prove themselves. Like look at Baker Mayfield. Look at what happened to Baker Mayfield. Started off solid in Cleveland, and then it kind of got off the rails, and the media was hitting on him. He goes to Carolina. It's a little rough. Then he goes and wins a game with LA. He gets a prove-it deal with the Buccaneers and consistent quarterback play as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Baker Mayfield's now considered by most people a top 10 quarterback and has revived his career. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is going to do the same thing or anything, but like you guys have said, it's going to take multiple years of consistent football and a couple of like maybe division wins or some unreal statistics for me to ever put Daniel Jones near the top 15.
Let's carry that because we've been on this segment for a while. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield. Let's move into the people's takes. I got takes from Twitter. We're gonna for time purposes, I got a take from Twitter, a take from the TikTok comments, and then Jake's gonna talk about Joe Burrow. And then we're gonna get in top 10 QBs, but to segue into Baker Mayfield. Shout out to Smith65 on our TikTok comment section who actually moved me with this take. Baker Mayfield is better than Justin Herbert. Herbert has lost his only 2 playoff games, one of which to an opponent that threw 4 interceptions, and the other one he had 3 of his own. And since 2023, Baker has cleared him statistically. That's the take. What do we think?
I'm not gonna argue it because it's a very good point, but
think he's cooking.
I don't put the whole entirety of the Jaguars playoff game on Justin Herbert compared to the Texans game.
No, the Texans.
I think I think the Jaguars game was more of a team thing too. I mean, sure that the offense didn't look great at all in the second half, but that takes a team to lose a comeback like that. That's bad.
That was a Brandon
Texans game,
Staley
sure,
thing. That game was a Brandon Staley
Yeah.
thing.
The Texans game, I would almost I'm not obviously Justin Herbert played bad, but I think the Chargers were your borderline fringe playoff team. They don't have they got a rookie lad McConkey who was playing well, but again, the Chargers didn't move me much as a team. Not trying to make up the excuse that Justin Herbert played absolutely awful and threw some really bad interceptions, but again, I don't mind the take. I think that Justin Herbert has a lot to prove, and a lot of people will sit here and say that Justin Herbert threw 23 touchdowns and to 3 interceptions last year and was really efficient, but that efficiency doesn't mean anything when you have no playoff success, I guess. And also, I don't know. I think Baker Mayfield's story to me, and I know story doesn't mean anything, but look at where Baker Mayfield was. He had to sign a prove it deal and compete with Kyle Trask. And people thought they overpaid for Baker Mayfield, and now look at what Baker Mayfield's done. He's won the division, I think, every single year since being signed to Tampa. They got weapons. He's in his prime right now. Just came back. I don't know if you just watched that fourth quarter game-winning drive against the Texans the other night.
He's a dog.
He played a dog. I respect him so much, and I love Baker Mayfield, and I really like Justin Herbert. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge Justin Herbert guy. Justin Herbert's looked great these first 2 weeks, but I don't think it's crazy to say that Baker Mayfield at this current moment is better than Justin Herbert.
I'm gonna pass it to Jake and John because I'll get into this take in my top 10. But this is the first time on the People's Takes that I've actually full-fledged agreed with a take that we've had. This moved me. I had already been thinking this before. This defends the fact that I was thinking people were ridiculous for trying to call Herbert a top 5 quarterback last week. I got Baker above him. So I don't know what you guys think about the take. Before we get on to the next one, I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
You want to go first, John, or?
No, Jake, you can go first, buddy.
All right. This is a very interesting take, and honestly, I'm inclined to agree with it. I won't say who I have above who in my rankings, but yeah, I definitely see it. I watched the Bucks play the Texans. I don't know why I was blanking on that. I watched that game, and the Texans defense is so good, and they were suffocating Mayfield the entire game. But dude, there are very few guys that you want in your team and you want as your quarterback with the game on the line, and Baker is one of those guys. It was freaking hilarious when I think he had that flip, and then it was earlier in the game and he got injured. Someone started shit talking him. He got right into his face. That is a quarterback you want on your team. And yeah, I mean the dude's just a dog. I think he has absolutely proven himself every step of the way since Cleveland. And although I am very high on Herbert as well, I definitely see the point. And yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot. There are very few quarterbacks that would be successful in Tampa Bay and get them to the record they are now. And Baker's one of those few guys that has been able to win the division for this team over the past couple of years. And I think just the job he's done there to bring them to somewhat relevancy, and I mean, even go as far as an almost NFC championship a couple years ago or a year ago is very impressive. So I definitely see the point. Yeah, I think he's definitely up there with Herbert to be considered.
To touch on what you said about clutch, yeah, Baker definitely is clutch, and I feel like Herbert, in the moments that we've had to see him be clutch, has been the opposite. That's one of the things that made me think about this take. And just one of the things with Herbert in general that I'm very iffy on is the lights have been too bright for him constantly. Obviously in postseason games, but also just meaningful stuff too. trying to beat Derek Carr to make the playoffs in that regular season finale all those years ago when he was probably one of the hottest in his career, coming off that great rookie year and everything. 2 playoff games, instances in, when they were competitive with the Chiefs for the division and just felt like they couldn't get it done, losing games that he shouldn't, and just not being as productive of a passer as before as of recent. His efficiency went up, only throwing 3 interceptions last year, but all the rest of his passing was kind of, down compared to what we've seen him at. And Baker does clear him statistically since arriving in Tampa Bay. So,
mind you, I think Justin Herbert at one point threw for close to, if not over 5,000 yards.
That was rookie year.
I think his rookie year.
And
Yeah.
since then,
Also,
it just went down.
before I let John talk real quick, I don't mean to interrupt him, but don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure since joining Tampa, Baker Mayfield leads all quarterbacks, like every quarterback in the NFL, in fourth quarter passing touchdowns.
He does.
Like
and he's top 3 in total passing touchdowns as well. He's behind Burrow and Lamar. John, I actually want John's take because you had Burrow at QB4 last week. Even though you said it was rage bait, but then you still had him top 5. So, what do you think? Because I know you like Baker too.
Well, I love Baker Mayfield. Because he does have that like grit and he does have that leadership aspect. And I mean the stats are there that since joining Tampa Bay, he has been a top quarterback. I mean, I know last year, especially up to like mid-season, he was a leader in a lot of passing categories. But I hate to say it because it kind of sounds like, kind of contradicts the point I was making earlier. But Baker Mayfield, it's sort of that I'd kind of put him, but not as drastically. I'd kind of put him in the same situation as we were talking about when it comes to Daniel Jones. Now, I rank him very highly. I do rank Baker Mayfield the past couple of years very highly, but the turnovers are there. I will say in Cleveland, everyone's like, oh, the Browns failed Baker. In 2019, he had 21 interceptions and 22 touchdowns, right? So he had almost the equal amount of interceptions as he did to touchdowns. Last year, he had 16 interceptions to 41 touchdowns. The year before that, he had 10 interceptions to 28 touchdowns. Before getting cut by Carolina in 2022, he went 6 for 6. He had 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So, again, everyone likes to say that the Browns failed Baker, but Baker has the turnovers, and he doesn't have the statistics to back it up. So I will say, though, Justin Herbert, I get it. He's not a playoff dominant god like Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts might be, but Justin Herbert is consistently good in the regular season. And I know it doesn't matter when the lights are actually bright and, they need to start winning meaningful football games. But, I mean, Baker Mayfield's won, 4 playoff games? I mean, and it's not like he's the only sole reason that they won those. I mean, Tampa Bay, they have a good team around them. They've had the defense the past couple of years. The Buccaneers consistently have a good offensive line. So it's not like we can't just say Baker Mayfield is the sole reason the Buccaneers are winning. I mean, they had 43-year-old Tom Brady winning them a Super Bowl. So
Cook Brady's system QB. No, I'm kidding.
I couldn't personally put Baker Mayfield above Justin Herbert just because of, like you said about Daniel Jones, his past, and he still needs to make up for a few more things. And he still has the turnover inconsistency.
That's
so
fair.
I would still have
Baker
Mayfield. I would still have Baker Mayfield in my top 10. And you know what? Speaking of gunslinger, that is actually what I was talking about the other day at work with some guy I work with. Baker Mayfield reminds me of a little bit like a Brett Favre. He reminds me a bit of a Brett Favre. He just throws the football. It doesn't matter. Baker Mayfield will throw the football, somehow make a completion, and just drag his big old balls across your face while doing it. I mean, and I know everyone likes to compare Josh Allen to Brett Favre because of his turnovers over the start of his career and that sort of thing. But I mean, Josh Allen is, a way more tremendous athlete than Brett Favre. But Baker Mayfield, honestly, I feel like is the closest resemblance to Brett Favre that we've seen in a while, personally, as I feel.
So, okay. I don't hate it either way, but I will regardless say at the very least, because of what we were talking about last week, Justin Herbert is closer to Baker Mayfield than he is to Jalen Hurts. That's at the very least what I'll say about that. And I don't know if you want to agree to disagree.
Crickets.
We'll get into top 10
Crickets.
stuff later.
I guess I'll go into my top 10 because you've been waiting
no,
for it.
well, don't, not yet. We got 2 more
Alright.
takes. I promise we'll get to
All
it.
right, go ahead. Go ahead with the take. There you go.
This one is a barn burner. This is the hottest take we've ever had. By next season, shout out to Oos on Twitter. By next season, Malik Neighbors will be the wide receiver 1 of the NFL.
No.
Hell
No.
Nope.
No.
Not the 1.
We
Nope.
still have Jamar Chase is in this league still.
Nope.
Justin Jefferson is still in this league.
I'm going to say
But
the same thing I said last week.
About JSN.
Is he better than Jamar Chase?
Fuck no.
Is he better than Justin Jefferson?
No.
Is he better than St. Brown?
No.
Is he better than CeeDee Lamb?
No. Not yet.
Is he better than A.J. Brown?
No.
Not. It's close because AJ Brown's off to a stinker, but it's because of the Eagles' play calling. He will be
Then
better
I
than
don't think so.
JSN though. He'll be better than JSN. How we were talking about last week.
I'll
He'll
say
be
this.
better than
I
JSN.
got to say it in the same terms that I said with JSN, right? This is Malik Neighbors, second-year player. JSN, someone that's kind of on the up from a crazy breakout, right? We can't, just like Daniel Jones, we can't judge him too soon. We can't overhype him. Sure, they could finish to be like top 10 receivers, but you look at the top 5s, like you look at like your elite quarterbacks, right? No one's touching them. Like at the moment, there's no one touching them. You got to understand that these 5 receivers impact the game in ways that these other guys clearly just they don't. I'm sorry. Like Jamar Chase just had 14 catches for 165, and he had a back quarterback in half the game. Justin Jefferson is probably the best route runner you'll see. Amon-Ra St. Brown cooks people out of the slot, physical downfield blocker. He even runs the ball. A.J. Brown, literally, if he's not catching the ball, he's putting the DB on his ass. Go ask Emmanuel Forbes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, but there's levels to this, just like you say, and they might be really good, but at the moment, I don't see them touching the top 5 within the next year or so.
I also feel like Malik Neighbors won't get the consistent enough QB play to be the wide receiver 1 of the NFL. You think about even when a wide receiver 1 of the league is on a bad team like Calvin Johnson, the team was bad, but he had Matt Stafford.
Josh
So he
Gordon.
still had the QB play. To be a wide receiver, that's all you really need is some level of like above average QB play. And it's like, yeah, a case can be made. I am really high on Malik Neighbors. I think he's a dog. I think his attitude sucks, but you know, that seems to be
I
a
think
common
he's a
theme
dog,
with the
too.
Giants
LSU
organization.
wide
So maybe
receivers.
it's a team thing. You know, maybe it's their fault that their players are acting like this. But I wanted to get out of this take really quick because while it's really hot, I think it's a bit of a stretch. I'm going to get into now. I don't know what this is, but Jake wanted to make a comparison, a Joe Burrow comparison. He said he's really high on Burrow. Burrow's a controversial topic as we get into this top 10 upcoming, so it'll be a nice transition. Jake, I don't know what he's going to say, so let's hear it.
Okay. It's not necessarily a hot take, but it was more like I wanted a platform for me to talk about how Joe Burrow is a modern day NFL tragedy, and I think he is going to be this generation's Andrew Luck. I don't think that's a crazy take, but I just wanted us to talk about it, like especially after the injury to him, like the fact that we're gonna miss out on so many clashes between Allen and Burrow and Mahomes really sucks. And obviously, he doesn't have the O line around him, but I think he partially brought this on himself because he wanted to get his boys paid. So I just wanted to hear what you guys thought and like if you agree with the fact that he's gonna be like Andrew Luck and possibly I could see him retiring early, honestly.
May I
like,
hit this
within
first?
the
May I
next
Yeah,
five,
hit it
6
first
years.
because it's funny you mentioned
Yeah.
Andrew Luck of all people with what I've been seeing on Twitter. But John, you go ahead.
Well, so I saw the statistic
Yeah.
today. Maybe you guys did. I don't know if it was, I saw it on Instagram though. I was trying to find it again, but when it comes to Joe Burrow and Andrew Luck, their injuries and the start to their careers have been very similar. Of course, Andrew Luck. I mean, we all know Andrew Luck when he came to this league, future Hall of Famer. I mean, Andrew Luck was probably. I mean, he would have gone toe to toe with Tom Brady if he had he would have gone. We would have seen wonderful games between him and Patrick Mahomes. I feel like we would have seen fireworks for Patrick Mahomes versus Andrew Luck. But yeah, when it comes to the Joe Burrow Andrew Luck comparison, I saw the stat. It was like Joe Burrow has been sacked about 20-something more times than Andrew Luck did in less games in his career. Andrew Luck retired at 29 years old. Joe Burrow is about 28 now, almost 29. Joe Burrow's been injured the last 3 seasons. Joe Burrow's been injured at one point. He tore his ACL, or no, he's missed 3 seasons due to injury. He tore his ACL his rookie year, and he's been consistently getting banged up. Their offensive line has been bottom 5 every year since he entered the league. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time maybe he's 31, he can't hack it anymore in the league. Maybe not 29. I think Burrow still does have a couple more years left before his body physically cannot do it. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if by 31 years old, Joe Burrow retires.
I understand that he's, Jamar Chase is the wide receiver 1 of the NFL, but I will never be convinced otherwise that they should not have taken Penei Sewell and that Jamar Chase was the incorrect pick. I stand by that till this day. I think T. Higgins would have been competent enough to lead the team enough to where they can add a receiver down the line, and you still have Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, and you have Penei Sewell. You still have Joe Mixon at the time. The offense would have been a lot more functional early. I get the 21 season, not because of the offense, was a great playoff run. When your defense is getting turnovers, when you're in a dogfight with Ryan Tannehill, and your defense gets you a turnover at midfield, you lead a 20-yard drive where you'd normally punt, but because you're in front of the 50, Evan McPherson kicks a chip shot, and you have more field goals and touchdowns scored in a playoff run where you make the Super Bowl. And I think in the Super Bowl, when you're getting eaten alive by the pass rush, I think Penei Sewell was the correct pick. I think it would have saved Burrow's career, but I'm also not going to – I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm not going to fully blame his offensive line. It's terrible, don't get me wrong. But Joe Burrow's pocket presence is sometimes not the greatest. When he tries to, because he thinks he's Mahomes, Allen, or Lamar and tries to be like them, holds the ball for too long sometimes, tries to do too much in the pocket. I mean, we saw him in preseason games trying to create these ridiculous scramble plays, getting sacked 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I find sacks to be 50% an offensive line stat and 50% a QB stat with some skews one way or the other. But at its core, it's 50-50. And in the case of Burrow, I definitely think his sack numbers would be down if he had, a little bit, but because he's that pure drop back pocket passer and whatever that we don't see much in QBs anymore. And his O-line's bad, and he's had some bad luck with injuries, but yeah, he is officially injury prone, and he is Tua level injury prone. That's now 2 QBs from the 2020 class that are unfortunately fallen victim to that. But I'm just diehard that Penei Sewell was the right pick. That's something that I'll be talking about when I'm 40.
I would like to piggyback onto the stats that I was talking about. I found the statistics. Joe Burrow and Andrew Luck in the same amount of games. Andrew Luck had been sacked 157 times in his first 71 games. Joe Burrow has been sacked 201 times in the early start of his career.
That's crazy.
And when it comes to offensive line rankings, since joining the league in 2020, Joe Burrow's offensive line has been ranked 2020, they were ranked 29th. 2021, they were 30th. 2022, they were 30th. 2023, they were 27th. 2024, they were last place and 32nd. And 2025, they're ranked 28th so far. So to have your young quarterback be sacked 201 times in only the first 6 years of his career is blasphemy. As a team, to allow your quarterback and the fans to voice their concerns about losing a player because of money constraints or not drafting a player because they want the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase connection back is blasphemy. When your franchise quarterback, who is supposed to be your franchise greatest quarterback, is being sacked 201 times.
I don't know how Zach Toast does a job
on multiple different occasions.
That stat actually is going to lead me into my take, and I'm gonna going to give a little different take than you guys, right? Let's forget about the football players. Let's take a look at the front office, right? So, as a GM of a football team or of any sports team, whether it's the Sabres, the Bills, the Bengals, whatever you want to say, right? Your job is to evaluate your problems, control the finances, and do what you believe is right for the football team. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say drafting Jamar Chase was a horrible thing because, I mean, look what he's done. But clearly, you needed offensive line help. And it is shown through those numbers in your rankings for the last however many years since Joe Burrow's been in the league that you need offensive line help. And they've tried to address it, and they haven't done well enough. I mean, the picks that they've used on the offensive line, I don't even think are on their team anymore. And if they are, I haven't noticed them. That's how bad they've been. But as a general manager, you're sitting here, you're looking at Joe Burrow get killed. If I was a GM and I just watched my quarterback get his ACL blown out in his rookie season, I'm like, hey, maybe we should draft our quarterback some help. Maybe we should get him an offensive lineman. But no, they go and get a wide receiver because they want to be fancy and they care more about stat padding than, protecting their quarterback and trying to win championships. So I think this is just as much, if not more, on the front office because, I mean, they're the one that puts the team out on the field, right? As much as the coach has to say, they draft along with the coach. They make roster moves. They make trades. They sign free agents. I mean, as much as the players got to go out and execute and, go and do it at a high percentage rate, you can't sit here and not think of, well, what if the front office did better and actually tried to help Joe Burrow and build a better core team around him than have contract disputes with T. Higgins and, Jamar Chase shows it sometimes too. He can be a diva for as good as he's been. It's like, how long is it going to be a Jamar Chase-led offense with Joe Burrow throwing in the ball instead of a Joe Burrow-led offense where he's getting Jamar Chase the ball and throwing it to, I don't know, anybody else? I mean, Mike Gesicki even had a good little run on this team. But literally, there really hasn't been anything since it was Chase, Boyd, and Higgins. It's consistently gotten worse with guys like Yoshi Voss having to take big roles on this team. And I forget, John, you're an Alabama fan. Who is the Alabama wide receiver? Is it like Burden? They drafted some guy that has had all these character issues. Joe Burrow's called him out for not doing anything with film. He's slowly now kind of found his footing and getting into the offense. But these are the guys that they're choosing to bring into the organization. They also haven't they didn't handle the whole Trey Hendrickson situation
their whole offseason
or Shamar Stewart.
Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart. They didn't do anything else.
And mind you, they're pouring money into 4 players. Trey Hendrickson, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. You're not going to build a long-term dynasty through 4 players. And that's why teams like the Bills, the Ravens, I mean, sure, they got their star players and even the Chiefs, but and I forgot to even mention the Eagles and the Lions, but it's about building a culture. It's about building I guess a dignity and a way that you want people to come to your team regardless of money. You want people to fit your scheme. You don't want to just go out and draft the best player because I threw the ball to him in college and I won a national championship with him.
Well, if you want to be a contending team, one of your at least top 5 paid players needs to be your left tackle or your best offensive lineman. So they've definitely failed there. I'm gonna segue off this, Jake. That was a good take, but for time we do have to get.
By the way, it was Jermaine Burton. By the way, from Bama, Jermaine Burton.
We do Jermaine get into where do they stand, the newest segment, top 10 QBs. It's current, not just off this season, and injuries don't. So it's not Joe Burrow's injured, so we can't rank him. I want to ask the uncomfortable question to start off: do you guys think Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league?
No,
it's been Josh Allen for a minute.
I'm alone. It seems I'm alone.
I got a question though. I got a question. How are we gonna do our list of our quarterbacks? Are we going one at a time, or
we'll just see where it goes after we talk about John's, because then at that point we'll just kind of see our variations. I don't think we all need to do whatever.
Who should we start off with?
John. I'm the only one with Mahomes at 1 apparently. I think Lamar.
Listen, so we're all gonna have hot takes and I know Brandon likes to argue with certain players that I like to put. But I'm going to give you my
10 to
full
1.
fair and honest.
I don't mean to interrupt your segment, but go 10 to 1.
Go 1 to 10.
10 to 1. Which one are we doing, boys?
1 to 10.
1 to 10. All right, at 1, I have to put Josh Allen. I mean, it's not even just based off of player statistics, and it's
Yeah,
it's
just
it's
start,
not
just
it's
give
not
the
even.
10 names to start, and then we can get into
Can
talking.
you not like not off of bias, not off of any of that? Josh Allen is like a quarterback that you want to lead your offense. He has leadership skills. The team loves to be around him, and yeah. But obviously now that we're talking about top 10 quarterbacks, though, it is statistics. Josh Allen has great passing stats the past couple of seasons. He's changed his turnover game. So Josh Allen is undeniably, I mean, he's the freaking reigning MVP. He's quarterback number 1 for me. Then it goes Lamar Jackson. Obviously, we had this conversation last week. Lamar Jackson, you can't deny his greatness. Lamar Jackson is the greatest dual threat quarterback to ever touch the football field. And then Patrick Mahomes was at the 3, just of his digression. Not exactly his digression, but he can't hit a deep ball lately to save his life, personally. I mean, the last couple of games we've watched, he struggled. Now here's where it gets controversial. All right, here's where it
Say
gets
it.
controversial. Justin Herbert at the 4, Jalen Hurts at the 5.
Damn it.
Jalen Hurts is 5. And then after the 5, we got Jaden Daniels at 6. Jaden Daniels at 6.
Keep going. Just give the rest of the names.
I got my boy Matt Stafford at the 7.
Okay.
I put Baker Mayfield at the 8. And Hurts at the 9. Geno Smith at the 10.
Who's at the 9?
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff at the 9. So according to
I thought
Jonathan,
he said Hurts. Sorry.
so according to
I
Jonathan,
might have misspoke. I'm sorry. But yeah, Jared Goff at the 9. Geno Smith at the 10.
so Joe Burrow isn't a top 10 quarterback.
Well, you know what? The first 2 weeks, I didn't see much of Joe Burrow being Joe Burrow, and now he's hurt. So really,
said twice in the same podcast. I can't believe this.
it's not that
Jared
but
Goff.
like you said, Joe Burrow makes poor decisions, and I love Joe Burrow. I do, and I am a big Joe Burrow supporter. And I guess when I take him out of the top 10, it's not exactly because he's not a top 10 level talent quarterback. It's just strictly based off the fact that it's kind of this Christian McCaffrey debate that we were having earlier. The guy consistently cannot be healthy. He's not healthy at all. The guy is hurt 9 times out of freaking 10. I'm not saying that he's not a top 10 talent. It's just like when you look at it all, I don't know, Joe Burrow, if he could stay healthy, then I could put him back. But now that he's out for 3 months, we're not going to see him for the rest of the season. I'm looking at quarterbacks that are currently playing and are going to play for the rest of the season now.
Let me run some names by you then that you might have over Joe Burrow right now. But tell me if they're over or under Joe Burrow on your list because you don't have him in top 10. Dak Prescott. John.
Dak Prescott. I know. I'm thinking that's it. Honestly, no. I don't think Dak Prescott's better than Joe Burrow.
Okay, Jordan Love, like you were saying earlier.
I don't know.
Okay, I just wanted to make
fucking
sure.
no.
I just wanted to make sure because
No.
so that's interesting. It seems to have. You're not the only person here to have
I'm
Geno
sorry.
Smith in the top
I'm
10,
sorry.
but Joe Burrow not
I'm
top
sorry.
10. I'm a Burrow hater, and I
I just
still
wanna
have him
say-
5.
I just want to say, John, can you name me the quarterbacks that aren't named Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady to be in a Super Bowl since like 2020?
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew
Jalen
Stafford.
Hurts. Matthew
Jalen
Stafford.
Hurts.
Jalen
Who
Hurts.
else?
Wait.
else?
Since what year? Since
2020. Since
Brock
2020.
Purdy.
Since
He's been
2020.
in a Super Bowl.
Oh, I know a guy, Brock Purdy. Yeah. Since 2020. Wait, was Super Bowl 54? That was
He's off
2019 or 20?
Here, I'll say this. He's off your top 10 list, by the way. He's he plays for the
Hey,
Cincinnati
hey,
Bengals.
blow up. This argument sucks. It's
His
Joe
name
Burrow.
is Kenny Pickett.
He's the only AFC quarterback that is not Patrick Mahomes to be in the Super
I know,
Bowl.
I know,
I'm
it's-
sorry.
Point
I
of
know,
no,
it's-
you
not.
sound
It's
you
Joe
sound
Burrow.
like
It's Joe Burrow. And
you sound like a Bengals
listen,
fan right now.
listen. Like I just said,
But I'm just
like
saying,
I was saying,
off the top
I know
10,
my list
put-
doesn't make sense when I know it doesn't make
put
sense for a lot of
Jaden
things.
Daniels above Joe Burrow.
I'm talking about the current.
He put
list.
Jared
I'm talking about the
Goff.
current
He
list.
put Jared
We're not gonna see Joe
Goff.
Burrow. We're not gonna see Joe Burrow for 4 months. We're not gonna see Joe Burrow for 4 months. How can we keep a guy? How can we keep a guy that's not going to be playing football for 4 months in the top 10 list?
Okay.
Explain that to
John,
me.
I hear your point.
How can we keep a player that's not going to play football for 4 months in the top 10?
I hear you. He fell on my list. I put Jalen Hurts above him. I put him, but out of the top 10 is agreed. I'm gonna get into my. I wanna get into mine.
Hold
real
on.
quick.
If we're going to go back to my original top 10, I had Joe Burrow at 6. I just kind of interchanged it because
Fair
I was
enough.
thinking
Fair
of the
enough.
fact that
That's still a little.
I just changed it because I was thinking of the fact that he's injured now
I get it.
and that he's
Sorry.
not going to
They
touch a
gave me a
football
good
for 4
laugh. I'm
months.
sorry.
I get it doesn't make sense entirely, but to me it just makes sense to not put a player who's not going to touch a football field for at least 3 to 4 months to have him
It's
in the
not
top
just
10.
based off of this year.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like
not just based off of this year.
Well, I missed that point.
Anyway, I want to get into mine.
Guys,
all I'm saying is I want to go
based off of
last.
this year. Since it's
All-
not based
all
off
I'm
of this
saying is
year,
I wanna
I'll
go
put Joe Burrow back at the 6 and kick Gino out of the top 10.
Okay.
Gino's at 11.
Okay.
All
You're
right.
still.
Sorry, I thought we were going off.
I'm
I
You're
thought we
still
were.
losing me with Jared Goff.
Shout out, Gino.
Just listen.
I thought we were going off of this season, and I apologize for that. But anyway,
Listen,
whoever's
listen.
next, go ahead.
I still might clickbait that clip anyway. But listen, here, I want me to go next. I'm the only one that still has Mahomes at 1. I got Mahomes at 1. I think, Tilly. I'm just going to fly through my list really quick. And then I'll get into some explanations. I got Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Hurts. I'll put Burrow at 5 to make the pod happy. Then I got Stafford, Baker, Herbert, Dak Prescott, Jaden Daniels. I used to have Jaden Daniels like 7. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought about CJ Stroud, the more I thought how many guys are above Jaden Daniels on my top 10. The main thing I differ with from John, Jared Goff is at my 11, so I'm not going to get too much into that. I still think Mahomes is the one because one of Allen or Lamar needs to make the Super Bowl. They're all three in a league of their own. Allen and Lamar may be a league of their own talent-wise, play-wise in the regular season. Until one of them makes the Super Bowl, that will not only propel one above the other indefinitely, it will put them above Mahomes indefinitely. I don't even think they got to win the big game. You just got to make it there. You got to make it past Mahomes in the playoffs. And my other point is that Dak Prescott is undeniably still a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, and if he was not robbed blind of an MVP in 2023, this wouldn't even be a discussion. He wiped Lamar in every statistic in 2023. I'm not one of those Bills fans that say Josh should have won it, blah, 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 whatever. Dak Prescott is absolutely robbed blind of that MVP. There is no shot that he's not in your top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. He's absolutely better than Jaden Daniels. He's better than Jared Goff. He's better than Geno Smith. Whoever else you have up there, Dak Prescott is absolutely a better quarterback in 2025.
In a world of hypotheticals, Josh Allen is 4-0 against or 5-0 against Mahomes in the playoffs, or 4-0.
I'm not even saying we have to change the outcomes of any games. I'm just saying we have to have voters grasp basic concepts of football to see that Dak Prescott was the best quarterback to play football in the 2023 regular season.
And I'm not disagreeing with you in that, but Lamar won the MVP. And what have the Cowboys done? But you like to talk about playoffs and stuff like that. What has Dak Prescott done important wise in the playoffs?
That's why I got him at 9.
But
I'm not arguing he's like a top 5 QB, but he's better than Geno Smith and Jared Goff. He's better than Jaden Daniels.
I can get behind keeping Mahomes in your number 1 spot. That it still makes sense because again, it is Patrick Mahomes.
I'm gonna respect Mahomes. Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes' greatness again, but the top 3 is just interchangeable in all ways of how it is. If you want Lamar Jackson at the 1 and Allen at the 2, Mahomes at the 3, or vice versa, however you organize it, I don't think there really can be many arguments for who's in your top 3 players or quarterbacks in the NFL. So that's not the top 3 is going to be the same, I'm sure, for all of us, unless Jake whips out some crazy freaking top 3. But
I want Jake to go next. So
all right, you boys ready?
Oh no,
Something crazy.
Okay.
Okay. So I got Josh at the 1. I got Patrick Mahomes at the 2. Lamar is 3rd. Joe Burrow is 4th on my list. Jalen Hurts is 5.
I'll take
Mayfield is 6. Herbert is 7. Stafford is 8, Daniels is 9, and Prescott is 10.
Okay, that is a
Um,
good constructed top 10. I have nothing bad to say about that top 10.
Yeah, I think
It's
the
not like
biggest thing
John's at
people would
all.
have to say is
All right, I
Joe.
misunderstood the detail. I didn't hear the detail that was based off of everything and not just
You
this year.
still have Jared Goff
I,
in there, and you still have Jaden Daniels way too high, and you still have Justin Herbert as your 4.
Justin Herbert is still
Yeah.
undeniably my 4, but I missed the detail that it was based off of the past couple years and not just this year. My apologies. My bad. All right.
I think the big thing people are gonna like question is Josh over. I feel like you either have Josh and Lamar over Mahomes or Mahomes over both based on what you value. But I truly believe that Josh has outplayed Mahomes in almost every single playoff game they played, and the defense has failed him down time and time and time again. So I think, like whoever was saying, I don't necessarily like blame those playoff losses on him. You can't give him the accolades of winning those Super Bowls, obviously, because he didn't do it. But like, I don't think you can fault Josh for having his playoff collapse on him over and over in the playoffs. And Mahomes, obviously, the accolades are just there. Like, he is clearly the most successful quarterback right now in the NFL. And Lamar, great player as well. Like, I think he's very similar to Josh, but I truly believe like look at the teams that Lamar has had, like especially last year. If Josh was on that roster, like he's winning the Super Bowl, in my opinion. I don't think I'm crazy for saying that. Like the amount of weapons and the amazing defense that Lamar had around him, and for the Ravens to hold the Chiefs to I don't even know how many points. It was not that many though. Like it was in the low 20s, and for them to still lose that game, like that shows me that he's not the best quarterback in the NFL. And then Joe Burrow, like obviously that Super Bowl that he made was a while ago, but I think that shows you the potential for what he can be when he has a full season and when things are clicking. Like I think when he's clicking, he could even be considered up there with the top 3. But the results aren't there and he gets injured a lot, so kind of makes sense why you have to put him lower. And yeah, we talked about Mayfield and Herbert. We talked about Mayfield and Herbert, and then I agree, Dak's got to be in your top 10. He was robbed in 2023. I stand on that. Good take, B-Crown.
All right, Nate. I know you've
What
been
do you guys
waiting
gotta say?
to
Yeah.
pass up. Nate, we're about to have 2 people with Geno Smith.
I've been waiting a long
in
time
their
for this
top
moment.
10. Keep in mind, I just watched Geno Smith throw the ball away on
Mhm.
4th down, go 0 for 10 on passes of 10-plus air yards with 3 interceptions on
Yes, he
those
did.
passes.
Take a look at the first interception and watch his receiver stop running the route. Take a look at the second interception, which was an arm punt. And take a look at the third interception when they're losing by so many points where he has to force it in the end zone, it gets tipped and picked. Either way you slice it, they're all, and I could be biased, but in my
He's still
opinion,
good. He's
none of
just
those
not top
interceptions
10.
were his fault. Bad games are going to happen. And I'm not asking for you guys to agree with me, but I'm just going to say some things that might make the waters a little bit uncomfortable, and we'll go from there. But I'm going to start off with my list first, 1 to 10.
All right.
1, I got Josh Allen. 2, Lamar Jackson. 3, Patrick Mahomes. 4, Jalen Hurts. 5, Joe Burrow. 6, Matt Stafford. 7, Baker Mayfield. 8, Justin Herbert. 9, Jane Daniels. 10, Geno Smith. All right. Why do I have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson? Why do I have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson at the 1 and the 2? Right. Okay. So I take a look. I know it's not all just based off of like what we're seeing right now in the current NFL, which is why I also want to apologize, John. My reaction to your list and Joe Burrow may have been a little over the top, but
It'll make
I
for
still
some
think
nice
it's
content, though,
ridiculous.
so I don't hate
I
it.
think it's ridiculous still that he's not top 10, even though you misunderstood the assignment. Josh Allen at my 1. I mean, come on. I thought it was crazy that, again, I'm not trying to target John here, but the best dual threat, Lamar Jackson, get out of here. Sure, he's a great runner, but oh my God, that shit that Josh Allen does on the field every single Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever day of the fucking week it is, it's ridiculous. You want to talk about dual threat quarterback? Josh Allen is the greatest dual threat quarterback of all time. I don't care what anybody else says. He throws the ball with the best of them. He runs with the best of them. Just because he's not the most elusive guy like a Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick, or doesn't rush for as many touchdowns sometimes or yards as a guy like Jalen Hurts, doesn't discredit the ability of him being an elusive quarterback. The man is insane. Just won an MVP season with literally a roster that no other quarterback, in my opinion, would be able to even take to the AFC Championship game. And I put Lamar Jackson in my 2 because just like Josh Allen, I think Lamar could do more than these other guys with a little bit less, despite having Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, and elite defense. I also think that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, not just purely based off that Sunday, the game I went to last week, they just play football. Like, everybody plays football, and then Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are, like, all the way up here. I can't describe it, man. It is truly a blessing to be able to watch these guys in my lifetime and say, like, hey, I, like, grew up and started getting into football and everything. It's like, these are the 2, like, top 3 headline guys of my generation. Like, it is truly backyard football with them all the time. You never know what they're going to do. 3, I got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the resume speaks for itself. He's been on a downwards trend for a little while, like I said, since Matt Nagy took over, and we've seen compared to like what the other 2 have, I mean, it's looking hard for Mahomes with a little less right now. I'll just kind of leave it at that. I mean, the Super Bowls speak for themselves, the consistency and everything. 4 was probably my hardest one on this list, being Jalen Hurts, because I'm at a very hard spot with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts as a quarterback doesn't impress me. He does, like, mainly it's because probably I don't know. He doesn't have a rocket arm, but he's a good runner. He's clutch. Like when I look at a Joe Burrow, I look at a Mahomes, I look at a Lamar, I look at a Josh Allen. Those are elite quarterbacks. Where I think Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback, but I don't think he falls into that category. But if we're looking at playoff success, we're looking at how clutch he is. We look at the success he's had since he's gotten guys like A.J. Brown, since Sirianni has taken over, and how he's progressed as a quarterback. It would be disrespectful to not put Jalen Hurts in your top 5. Regardless of how you look at it.
Are you talking about his 94.3 passer rating, 10 passing, 10 rushing touchdowns to just 3 picks in 9 playoff games with a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl
and
MVP?
14 rushing touchdowns in a single season, which is a rushing record that was only beaten by the one and only Josh Allen because, he doesn't need a tush push or anything.
Gas him up
did it without the tush push. Josh Allen did it without the tush push. But Jalen Hurts, though, but what like I was going to say, regardless of how you slice it, you look at Sunday's game, he said it the best. We won the football game. He is a winner, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. That's what truly convinced me that Jalen Hurts is like, okay, that's top 5. You got to win in this league. Also, why I put him over Burrow is this really fun stat called AV. I don't exactly remember it off the top of my head, but it takes all these things and it calculates them. And, well, Jalen Hurts has a higher AV than Joe Burrow, and Jalen Hurts, if you want to get into more uncomfortable conversations, has a similar, if not slightly higher AV than guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. The only person that that Jalen Hurts doesn't have a higher AV than is Patrick Mahomes, which is another reason why Jalen Hurts should be in your top 5. He's a winner. He has a very interesting, lucrative stat that shows how much value you have, I believe. So that's
Hurts
why he's
gets
at my
better in the playoffs while Burrow gets worse. He's never had a fourth quarter playoff touchdown or OT.
6, I got Matt Stafford. I mean, he still makes ridiculous throws. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's ridiculous still for being, I think, the oldest quarterback in the league, if not, he's up there. Baker Mayfield and Justin Herbert, you could always change, but again, I've been leaning a lot more towards Baker, like I said earlier. 9, a little bit of recency bias, but I got Jayden Daniels. I know it's a little early for Jayden Daniels, but I just think he's such a dynamic guy. He's looked a little rough to start this season, but I mean, I'm buying into the hype a little bit from last year. I think he looked great, and I think that his playoff run, I mean, I don't know how you, let alone take that Commanders team to the playoffs. I mean, he just elevated. He got to Scary Terry, I guess, that like mainstream breakout year that got him paid this offseason. So, I mean, you could argue guys like Dak and everything, but I want to be a little different, and I just love the way he plays the game. So, personally for me at 9, I got Jayden Daniels. And number 10, I got Geno Smith. There's a lot of guys you could put at 10 or at 9 or whatever, but I got Geno Smith here at 10, and I got to just pull up my notes real quick on Geno Smith. I don't think Geno Smith gets enough credit for what he deserved. Like, since coming back and being a full-time starter in Seattle, like, he is consistent. He has put up numbers, and I just think, because his name's Geno Smith, and and he's a pocket passer that, he doesn't get as much love. So I got Geno Smith at 10. Lucrative stat number 1, and it kind of backfired because he played really bad yesterday, but Geno Smith has a 6.7 to 1 touchdown to interception ratio in domes. And that's why I thought 2025 Geno is going to go nuclear. I think Geno Smith is. I'm not saying he's going to push any like crazy conversations with quarterbacks, but that's why I think borderline top 10. Maybe put him at your 9. Give him a couple more games, see how he does.
2020 start of 2024, he leads the league in
Which
picks.
happens when you're throwing the deep ball to
That's true.
DK
Baker
Metcalf.
Mayfield's in that top 3, so it's fair.
Week 1 of the year, Geno Smith, 362 passing yards as a Raider, which is a record. This is more of like a Raiders history thing, but a record as a Raider in debut passing yards. He is second in the NFL since 2022 in game-winning drives with 12. First being Mahomes with 18, and third being Josh Allen 11. Now, I did these numbers earlier this week, so easily some of these could be tweaked and updated. He is top 5 in completion percentage in 2 of the last 3 seasons, where in 2022 he finished first, and 2024 he finished 5th. His 2022 season, he was first in completion percentage, he was 4th in passing touchdowns, 5th in passer rating, and he was 8th in passing yards. Last 3 seasons, right? So since 2022. He is 7th in passing touchdowns behind Goff, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, and Tua. Passing yards.
Okay, I was going to say.
Wait, no. That was passing touchdowns. Passing yards, he's 4th since 2022. I read the wrong thing. He's 4th in passing yards since 2022 behind Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. And he also has...
Tua number 1 in passing touchdowns? Since 22?
No, Tua...
Or is that yours?
Tua is 6th. Tua is 6th.
Oh, you were reading Wonders. Okay. I was going to say.
And then... I know you can say about what, like, I know people will sit here and say wins are a quarterback stat, right? If we're going to you got to think team success, you got to think a little bit of wins. He has 28 wins as a starter since 2022, which ranks him 5th among active quarterbacks behind Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen, who are tied 2nd, Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson. Now, this is where it's going to get a little murky. This is where it's going to get interesting. We're going to compare Geno Smith to some quarterbacks since 2022. First quarterback.
This does need to be relatively quick because we're on time. Sorry.
Yep. First quarterback is Lamar Jackson. Now, mind you, Geno Smith was 4th in passing yards, 7th in passing touchdowns, 5th in QB wins, 3rd in completion percentage, and 12th in passer rating since 2022. He has more passing yards than Lamar Jackson. He has slightly less passing touchdowns than Lamar, who has 84. He has the same amount of wins as Lamar. He has a higher completion percentage than Lamar. The only thing Lamar really has on him is passer rating, which we don't really like. Geno Smith versus Justin Herbert, who John considers top 4 and multiple consider still top 5. Geno Smith has more passing yards. He has more passing touchdowns. He has more QB wins. He has a higher completion percentage, and then he has a slightly less passer rating by 3 spots than Justin Herbert since 2022. We're also going to talk Baker Mayfield. Geno Smith has more passing yards. He has 10 less passing touchdowns. He has more wins, a higher completion percentage, and a 1 spot less on passer rating than Baker Mayfield. And then to round it off in regular season, Matt Stafford. Geno Smith has more passing yards. He has more passing touchdowns. He has more QB wins, a higher completion percentage, and a better QBR than Matt Stafford. And then just to round it off, it's 2022 in the playoffs because, again, a lot of you like to guess up Justin Herbert. Geno Smith, in one career, I know it's a career sample size of 1 game to 2 games. Geno Smith has a better completion percentage. He has less yards, the same amount of touchdowns, and a loss, and he has less turnovers than Justin Herbert in Justin Herbert's 2 playoff career starts. Justin Herbert also has a 52% completion percentage to get the exact number through 2 playoff games against Jacksonville, and the Houston Texans, where Geno Smith finished with a 71.4 completion percent and a better touchdown to interception ratio against the 49ers in the wild card.
Now you see why
That's all I have
come
to
on
say on
here.
Geno Smith.
You see why I come on here and tell the truth about Justin Herbert, and I'm telling you right now, Joe Burrow's playoff stats they're not that bad, but they're not far off. And all these other things, like there's levels to this playoff performance stuff, and that's why that and the injury prone status is why before, like, this injury is what caused it, but it was a straw that broke the camel's back for me to put Jalen Hurts above Joe Burrow, because the whole "what have you done for me lately" thing really comes into play with that. I didn't really get to talk about this. That's why it's kind of changing the thing here before we have to move to pick'ems. The whole "what have you done for me lately" thing applies here so much, because Joe Burrow's only notable playoff run in 2021, where they had more field goals scored than touchdowns, where he probably had, outside of the Rams, probably the best defense in that playoff run, where he dodged dogfights with Derek Carr and Ryan Tannehill, where Mahomes had like the biggest outlier game of second half, at least, of his career, just forgot how to play football, where he should have lost to Rams by more on that ridiculous, like, T. Higgins throwing Jalen Ramsey to the ground deep ball touchdown that just was, we don't see the flag. While Jalen Hurts actually gets better in the playoffs, gets more efficient, scores more, and you see that with Geno Smith, where one playoff game, that's like, he's only made the playoffs one time, so it's like, and he lost, so it's, whatever. But the regular season, that does move me a little bit. But once again, like we were saying with Daniel Jones, I don't know if it's not. They wrote Geno off. Still figuring out whether or not he should have wrote back. He's a good quarterback, top 10. I don't know. If anyone else has anything else to say about these top 10 QBs before we get into the pick'ems that I'll just kind of run through real quick before we close out the show, now would be the time. All right, so pick'ems. We're gonna look week 2. Really good week by the whole pod. John and myself going 13-3. Jake and Nate going 14-2, and Torin, who's not here to brag, goes 15-1, and now leads the total pick'ems by 1 game. Me, Nate, and Jake all tied 1 game back. John climbing the ladder a little bit. I'm just gonna go ahead and rifle off what our picks are, because a lot of our picks are still the same, and any outliers, I'm going to tell that person, I'm going to put that person on the spot and ask why they picked differently. Whole pod picked the Bills, whole pod picked the Packers. Jake's the only one that picked the Titans. I almost picked them. Jake, run me through your Titans pick, because I can see where it's happening, and this is a pick that I've picked against the Colts for 2 weeks and they've won, so I feel like I kind of have to go with them, but I wouldn't mind getting this one wrong, because I really like what I've seen out of Cam Ward.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of what you said. I really like what I've seen out of Cam Ward, and I think the Colts were due for a loss after last week. Like, I think we all agree they probably should have lost that game. Yeah, I think the Colts are going to be solid this year, and I'm actually going to go out on a whim and say I think they're going to win the division as it stands right now, which might be a hot take, but yeah, I mean, the Titans are at home, and I think they've had 2 hard-fought games against 2 of the better teams in the league, I'd say, like at least 2 solid teams. So I think they're due for a win here. I just don't see them going 0-3, and it's also like I don't see the Colts going 3-0 either. So I think they're catching the Titans at a good time.
I agree. Not taking off the stage here yet. You're the only one that picked the Bengals. My thing here for the Vikings was I believe JJ McCarthy, we didn't get time to talk about Vikings Falcons. JJ McCarthy is a train wreck, and I think Carson Wentz makes their offense better. But I want to hear your thoughts picking the Bengals on the road.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think JJ McCarthy is going to be awful in the NFL. Actually, I didn't even watch that game. So did they put Carson Wentz in or JJ McCarthy?
No, but JJ McCarthy's out this week, so Carson Wentz is starting.
Oh, he's out. Okay, yeah. Honestly, that influences my decision a little. I'm still gonna stick with the Bengals because although Jake Browning looked awful in that game, you can't deny the receiver talent around him, and I think they're gonna beat a Carson Wentz who hasn't seen the field in a long time. And just the fact, like, Jake Browning's done this before. Like, he's came in late in the season and kind of got things moving for the Bengals again. I know they didn't make the playoffs that year, I don't believe. But yeah, like Jake Browning, I think can get it done. And yeah, the Vikings just looked sluggish, so sluggish with JJ McCarthy. And I know he's not playing, but like I'm very concerned if I'm a Vikings fan. Like honestly, I wanted them to keep Darnold because I was not high on JJ McCarthy at all.
No surprises here on some of these other picks. We all went the Eagles. We all went the Bucks. We all went the Commanders. But I think if Jaden Daniels is out, well, I'll probably switch that pick. We all went the Falcons. All went the Chargers and Seahawks at home. We all went the 49ers. We all went the Chiefs on Sunday night. The Ravens on Monday night. We got a couple more outliers here. John, I'll give you the floor. Jake and you both had this picking the Patriots over the Steelers. Pat's at home. But I'll give you the floor to explain this pick because it is not the majority, so we're going to highlight it. What do you got?
Yeah.
Patriots over Steelers.
Yeah, so it is a close game, and I don't think there's really going to be one team that stands out from the other. I know the Patriots. It's a tough story to tell. I think that they can win football games. Honestly, I think they could finish second or third in this division confidently. I don't see the Patriots finishing last. And really, it is. I think my best bet would be them finishing second in the division, to be honest with you.
I agree. I had it in preseason.
And the Steelers, kind of the same story with them. They have not even aging. They have an aged Aaron Rodgers, who, I mean, he hasn't been a bottom 5 quarterback this season so far. But I just think that Drake May, I have high regards for Drake May. I know it might seem, kind of weird to say that about a Patriots quarterback or whatnot, but I think Drake May, this game, I just feel something. I just felt something when I saw Steelers-Patriots. It's a rivalry as old as time. I mean, we all talked about, the Brady playoff game against the Steelers, that sort of thing, and everybody, liked to talk about the Brady versus Roethlisberger Steelers games. But now it's a new era of Steelers and Patriots football, and I don't know, something about Drake May leading the charge against the Steelers at home. I just feel like they take it away.
I agree. I still pick the Steelers, but I think another thing too that could be the edge is the Steelers have a really bad offensive line. You saw Harold Landry in Week 1 against a Raiders team that also has a really bad offensive line that just got carved up by the Chargers. Record 2.5 sacks on Geno Smith. Could do that again against Aaron Rodgers, who literally only drops back in the pocket. He'll probably get sacked 5-6 times. So I still went the Steelers, but this was the game that was the hardest for me.
I just want to say that I do think though the Steelers' run game and the usage of Jaylen Warren last week looked a lot better. So I don't think Rodgers is going to be forced to sit back there the whole time against that pass rush.
Which I really shit on the Steelers' run game, and I still think it's really bad. What's his name? Caleb Johnson. Just so far what we've seen of him, both in the run game and apparently in the return game too, he just looks bad. And but we got 2 more outliers. These are my picks. So me and Torin both went Jags over Texans. He's not here to talk about it, so I will. I am just not the biggest CJ Stroud fan. You obviously heard me. So I think the Texans get off to an 0-3 start. I think the Jags take the game home. You heard me. Obviously, Stroud's not in my top 10, and there's a couple more QBs I'd take over him right now. Despite everything else, I would take Goff. I'd take Kyler. I'd take Geno. I'd probably take Purdy. And I might even take Aaron Rodgers over Stroud. Stroud's talented. I get that. He had a good rookie year. It wasn't an amazing rookie year. It wasn't as good. It didn't move me as much as Jaden Daniels did this past year. CJ Stroud has also managed to score 30-plus in just 2 games since the start of the 2024 season. I understand the offensive line is really bad. They traded Tunsil. It was already going to be bad as is. It looks really horrible. But they've scored 1 touchdown in 2 games. They failed to find the end zone in a game where they held an electric offense that just lit it up last week in the Rams to 14 points. The Texans do have a good defense because they just contained an electric Bucs offense that we know can drop 30 or 40 on you to what 20 what how many what was the final 21
I think it was like 21 or
21
19.
19.
It was like 19 to 14, I think.
Stroud himself has found the end zone one time in these two games, and
Yeah, I think it was 19 to 14 because they missed an extra point.
yeah. So Stroud himself has found the end zone one time in these last two games, and I personally have been moved by the Jags offense. I think Trevor's playing solid football, better than I had him at, because I thought Trevor was going to potentially lose his job this year because I'm not high on him. But I think Etienne's playing like bounce back football. You know, a lot of people were ready to write him off. You get Travis Hunter going. There's receivers on the Jags like Diami Brown, and they're making plays. Who's their tight end as well? Brenton Strange,
Yeah,
I believe. Brenton Strange, he's making plays for him. He had a good week 1, I know. And I know they lost that scrappy game to the Bengals that they probably should have won. But you got an 0-2 Texans team that is walking into a division game on the road. I'm picking the Jags. I think they're gonna.
Texans are gonna be hungry, man.
Yep, but I think Jags take it home and keep that division race competitive with the Colts. And then the last pick, this is my big one. It goes into what I said about secondary play earlier. I have the Bears at home upsetting the Dallas Cowboys in the 425 slot. I think that I know Caleb Williams is not off to a great start. I know he's playing worse or on the same level as Spencer Rattler right now. I get that. But I also understand that I don't think they're a bad enough team to start 0-3, which is a dagger for your season. I see the Dallas Cowboys that almost just lost to the soon-to-be 0-3 Giants because of the secondary play, and I see Rome Odunze has been absolutely lighting it up. I know that DJ Moore is due for something. I know that tight end attack can be deadly. I know that DeAndre Swift can get something going in the receiving game if he needs to as well, and obviously he's had some angry runs this year. I know Caleb could scramble. I know Caleb can throw a beautiful ball when he wants to. I know the Bears' secondary is also pretty riddled. I think it'll be another scrappy, potentially high-scoring game, but I think this is the game that Ben Johnson locks in and gets his first one as a head coach. It's hard for me to picture the Bears at 0-3 because I had them being competitive this year. I could be dead wrong, but I just got a gut feeling that they come out with their first win of the year to not totally put their season into the ground. And that's all I got to say about that. I don't know if there's any other games this week upcoming that you guys want to talk about. I go ahead and take the floor. And if not, we can go ahead and wrap up the episode.
I mean, I feel like we need to wrap it up. It's been about 2 hours now of film time, but
yeah, we don't. It won't be as long.
I know
as
Brandon has to edit it. I don't know if.
Rick B. Crone.
I think we're at a. No, I'm good. I think we're at a good point. So, thank you guys for listening to episode 2 of the 10 Toes Down podcast. You know, we're trying to stay consistent. Check us out wherever you're listening, whether it's YouTube or Spotify. Check out the other platform as well. Short form content, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Pretty much trying to do one every day of the week. We have a Twitter as well where you can weekly submit the people's takes for a chance to be featured on the podcast. Thank you all for listening. We will see you in the next episode. Take care.